Welcome to another PODoween, where we're talking before and after reviews. This one is about Halloween Ends.
You all painted up for a crackhead, huh? Halloween ain't till mañana.
Just another Halloween.
We're just another movie night. My name's Scott,
I'm Joe.
and I'm going to drink a beer because, well, the last Halloween, they told me evil dies tonight.
Evil dies tonight!
And not only did it not die tonight, it's back again to die tonight. So I'm going to drink a beer on that one. In honor of Anthony Michael Hall, I'm going to drink a beer.
Oh yeah, can we pour out a little for our homie?
Yeah. A friend brought over Void Shaker, Funky Buddha, and I'm going to tell you, I'm going to drink their beer. They leave it in my house. It's going down my belly.
How is that one? It's the aged coffee style?
It's 11%. Jesus.
You just took one sip. You shouldn't be wasted yet.
It's an 11% beer.
Okay.
So I'll be nice and ready to watch Michael die tonight.
Okay, Michael's not gonna die, but okay.
Well, he's gonna die. This is Halloween Ends.
But who does it end for? Does it end for Laurie Strode, the final girl, or does it end for Michael?
And
Let's see.
here's what I did. I wrote questions for you.
Oh, okay, great. I can't
I have
wait.
a list for this conversation
All right, let's get it.
because I have a lot of thoughts. Now let's real quick. Let's start off. How do you feel about Halloween as a franchise as a whole? Not just this new one, but as a whole.
Wow, you are really getting into it, like deep stuff.
Where does it rank in your horror movie franchises? Like, where does it rank?
Okay, as far as horror movie franchises go, I'm going to say, and I will get total flack for this, but I can't help the way I feel, is that I think that it ranks second only to Chucky. Because I love Chucky.
Wow.
I love Chucky so much.
Second?
Yeah, so it'll come in second on the horror movie franchises. Yeah.
You know, I'm wondering too. Well, when you say that, are you saying that it's the most consecutive good movies in a row?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there are a couple of turds in there, and I won't mention the Season of the Witch.
Oh, you're gonna scare off a lot of people.
I had so much courage just then. But yeah,
Yeah, we've talked about this before, and I think we should do a separate episode just on our rankings of these horror movie series.
I would love it.
Because you love this franchise.
I do. I think Michael Myers is menacing and creepy, and I love. Yeah, I do like this franchise. But for the most part, I think Michael Myers is an awesome villain.
Yeah.
I think he's cool. And from 1978 onward, there's been some cool people in it. So, yeah.
If I had to say, I would absolutely admit, I even like the turds, the ones that people don't like.
Right.
I enjoy them.
Right.
And I have, if you make, we love, I have a list of movies I think are so bad it's good. And I definitely have one of these movies on there. The one that everybody doesn't like, I cannot stop laughing during it. It's one of my favorite bad ones. So.
You're going to say the one that you're talking about?
It's the one where Loomis is going ape shit and he's shaking a little girl constantly through the movie. It makes me lose my shit laughing.
I think that's part 5, right?
I
With Jamie. You're
it's the
referencing
second
Jamie.
Jamie
That's that is Danielle Harris.
It's not the one with Paul Rudd.
No, that's
a
part
whole nother
4.
one.
I want to say it's part 4, but
That's an odd one.
This one, I think you're referencing part 5 where he's violently shaking
He's
poor
just
Danielle
shaking
Harris,
her.
like losing all his mind.
Jamie, you gotta help me to find him. We both know he's alive. But you know where he is! Why? Why are you protecting him? What about your stepmother, Jamie? You love her, don't you? He made you stab her.
What's the next question?
Well, yeah. So you enjoy it.
Yeah, I do.
Well, as a whole. Now, let's bring it down. These 3 Halloween movies so far.
Okay.
How do you feel?
Okay, well, naturally, I did not care much for the last one. The Halloween Kills was the last one, and I feel like, without naming specific actors, I'm going to say that there's a couple that particularly brought it down for me. It got a little cheesy and ridiculous, but I will say that it went up a couple notches because every time Michael was on screen, he was amazing. He was scary. He was absolutely terrifying looking.
Are you specifically talking about the last one?
The last movie.
Okay.
The one before that, just Halloween.
Okay, yeah. Which
it
is
was
the sequel to the first one, skipping
yeah.
the original second one, which
Yes.
I think, if I could add to this, keeping that second one in might have actually helped this franchise
Yeah, I think so too.
because it's crazy. The things that they're saying is happening here are mind-blowingly bizarre to
Yeah,
me.
I know.
There's nothing like realizing that Michael is a senior citizen.
I know.
It's
Well, he's got to be. Okay, so if Laurie is this old now,
yeah.
he's got to be at least, I want to say, in his late 60s, if not 70.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do it by the timeline. That being said, I really did like seeing Jamie Lee come back. I mean, she is the ultimate final girl. I did like seeing her come back. I did not mind that movie. I was entertained
Are you
by
talking about the first one?
Yes. The second Halloween Kills, I did. I mean, as a movie as a whole, I did not care for.
It's a mess.
It is a hot mess.
Yeah,
It is.
It is. It's half a good movie and half a bad movie.
But Michael was amazing, and Jamie Lee is always awesome. Jamie
Yeah,
Lee is Jamie
it's
Lee.
the
but
scariest that Michael's ever been.
He's
without
the
a doubt.
scariest. Yeah, yeah.
I think.
Yeah, the scenes of him in the
He's so brutal.
he's very brutal. Yes, yes. So that's what it had going for it, in my opinion. Yeah. So
Well, here's my biggest thing, right? So we saw the commercial for this movie. This movie is going to jump 4 years. Now, Michael's even older. Now, what's even crazier about this is Jamie Lee Curtis looks better in this movie's trailer than she does in the last 2. It's 4 years later.
yeah, that's true. Well, I'm curious as to why they would add 4 years onto this.
I don't know.
Like, where
'cause
was Michael?
had to get over gunshots.
Okay, so he was just like hanging out in a barn somewhere for 4 years, and
I
then
can't wait. I hope they tell us that he was like working at a gas station. I just.
well,
I
he already
just
has the
can't.
jumpsuit.
Yeah, he does. Where could he hide? I mean, is he hiding in someone's basement?
Yeah.
For 4 years.
And does he
I
get fucked
can't
up? Like,
wait.
does he like? They did. He did get his ass beat a little bit, but not
No.
not to an extent that you would think that he would be like completely incapacitated.
Yeah.
He doesn't get incapacitated. He's now supernatural.
Exactly.
So
In a turn of
what
events.
is he doing?
Yeah, in a new turn of events, they virtually say he is superhuman.
Yeah.
I don't understand what that is about. I don't
Or
understand how
that
makes
mob
sense.
was like the most inept mob on
No.
the face of the earth.
They were brutalizing him. I
Right.
think he was just stabbed with a pitchchork
Oh, he
and
gets
then
fucked up.
brutalized by a mob and then stands up and kills them.
I'm gonna say maybe
like a ninja.
He went to, he went to a barn.
fucking
He
crazy.
found a barn and he met a girl and raised some kids.
Oh my god. I hope someone out there, please listening, make the fanfic of the 4 year.
Yeah. Make Michael Myers like a family man now, and he's raising like little Michaels.
Yeah. Going back to my so bad it's good Michael Myers treat of part 5, you said there's also a jump where he was living with a homeless man for a while.
Yeah.
Hilarious. One that he just gets up out of a coma and just kills the homeless man that's been taking care of him for a year.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Oh, you know what I forgot to mention? The one thing I did like about the last Halloween Kills is Big John and Little John. They were they were cute characters. That was another thing I liked. Not that it has any relevance whatsoever.
This is being done
but
by
it's just another thing I liked.
David Gordon Green, I believe.
Yeah.
That guy's a comedian. He's done funny stuff. He works with Danny McBride for a reason. Okay, so they littered these movies with comedians as the fodder.
Yeah.
That second one, they had Little John and Big John, 2 comedians And then there was also an older couple who are also comedians that get brutally murdered. Like,
Yeah.
it is so friggin' weird.
There was a lot of time in that movie, though. You know, it's silliness. But
I mean, the silliness to me is everything else without Michael. But
everything without Michael is silly. Yeah.
so here, now I guess the question is, are you excited for this movie tonight?
Yes, I am excited. I'm excited for several reasons. Would you like to hear them?
Yeah, list them.
Okay. Well,
That's why we're here.
I feel like this is going to be a really good send-off for Jamie Lee. I think it is. Even if they do have a moment in this movie where they actually go down together, you know, like in a blaze of glory or whatever, they both die together, take each other out. Mm-hmm. At least she'll have her completion, you know, and then she's still, in my eyes, still the ultimate final girl. But I feel like
I never understand this one.
she's just a fucking badass.
Do you want me to piss people off?
No.
Because
Well,
when the people say she's the ultimate final girl, I get pissed off. She does absolutely nothing in the first original movie.
she survives this shit.
She survives only because Loomis comes in the room and saves her. He shoots him
She
out the
does a
window.
good job of fighting back, though.
She keeps dropping weapons and sitting down on the floor constantly. It is obnoxious.
Okay,
now you're going to say final girls. Ellen Ripley is the final.
Well,
girl.
how dare you?
When people you said ultimate final girl.
I mean, when I say, you know, she's
No,
first of all,
Nancy from Freddy.
Okay,
from Nightmare
well,
on Elm Street.
can we just
is
say
the ultimate final girl? She
Nancy
kicks his
has
ass.
survived only 2 films. Okay,
Well,
2
3
films.
if you're counting.
No, she was not in the
actress.
second one.
No, it's
but
not
if
New
you,
Nightmare.
oh, well, New Nightmare doesn't count because she's
I'm
playing
saying-
Heather
I'm-
Langenkamp.
I'm saying when you say final girls, ultimate final girls, you have to have a character who fights back, who kicks ass. Now,
Okay, but Jamie Lee does that in the last 2 movies. She does fight
you're
back.
talking about these 2 movies? No, one movie. She was in the hospital for an entire second movie. She does nothing. Nothing.
You know what? You're in big trouble with these people listening.
I'm sorry. And I'm going to say something even more that's a hot take. I think that she's the worst fucking part of these movies. I know it's fun to bring her back so she could fight Michael, but what I loved about it was they said that Michael doesn't give a shit about her. I thought that was great because there's always this debate, like he's obsessed with her. Why? Right? And now that they got rid of the second one, there is no connection there. They're not brother and sister. He doesn't care. He's a killing machine. So why this third one is going to have him going after her angers me. They have to really do something to make that make sense because he didn't give a shit about her in the second one. The doctor brought him there in the first one. So
Okay. All right.
to
Well,
me-
it's
Jamie Lee Curtis is playing this drunk character who's like, oh, my whole life I've dedicated to killing this guy. He's from one night. What? So that's like saying every single crazy person that goes after a couple. The woman always goes into sane mode, becomes an alcoholic, and becomes a redneck recluse that lives on a farm and shoots shotguns. It's just like, I hate it.
okay.
Now, if she was like, I think H2O did it better, and I don't even like H2O. I know a lot of people seem to because it's like a '90s version that everybody loves. Josh Hartnett has the worst hair of all time again,
He
so
always
you know
has
it's the
the
'90s.
worst hair.
But here, Jamie Lee Curtis, it's better. She's trying to live her life, and she's got
Yeah.
PTSD from the whole situation. Here, instead, in this new version, she's like this other thing that's like this badass. You become this, not even a badass. I was hoping for a long time that she was going to say that the bus crash was because of her being drunk. We never found out why the bus actually crashed
Okay. All right.
while Michael got out. I was hoping they were going to say it was her, that she released him. It's all her fault.
Right.
But they haven't done that. And I
Okay.
really thought they were setting it up, but they didn't. And so, to me, I'm like, get away from it now because I can't hear 2 characters talk about how he's evil incarnate and he's a shark and he's coming to get, and evil dies. I can't take these conversations anymore. They're forced and cheesy and they don't feel realistic.
Okay.
And everything that's tying to Jamie Lee Curtis's character is the problem with these movies. The daughter, the 2 daughters, granddaughter. They're
Yeah.
not good. They killed off the daughter at the
No,
end.
the
I
characters, the side characters are not that great.
it's
but
not great, and it all ties to her character. Everybody is looking for Lori. It's like, holy fuck! Can't we just like have this guy on the loose and the people in town are trying to stop him, and that would have been more interesting.
Yeah.
Instead, we got to keep cutting back to Lori in the hospital and find out about her ex-lover who got stabbed in the throat, and he's alive somehow.
Yeah,
That is
he survives.
terrible. It's terrible.
But can we talk? I mean, okay, I'm not just talking about. If you want to talk about ultimate final girls, you want to be, you want to go there and talk
said
about
Ellen.
the ultimate
Ellen
final
Ripley.
girl. Sydney Prescott is an ultimate final girl. I know you don't like it, but she is. Okay. Also, can we? I'm gonna go back a smidge and also say that when I say final girl, this doesn't necessarily mean that
You said
just
ultimate final girl. You just mean that you like Jamie Lee Curtis.
I
love
her.
Jamie Lee
But
Curtis too.
this is what I'm trying to say is that she also survives other horror movies. So she survived Prom Night.
Oh,
She did.
boy.
So
Yeah, she
whatever.
does,
So
but I
she's a
don't
final
remember
girl.
who she's attached
Whatever.
to. Doesn't
Fine.
matter.
I don't care. Okay, she's a final girl, and I love Jamie Lee Curtis. I think I
do
like
too.
her as a person. So I like her.
You gotta separate the two people though, the
I know.
character and the woman.
Oh.
I love Jamie Lee Curtis. She eats Dannon yogurt like a boss.
Is it Dannon? No.
Yeah, wasn't she Dannon yogurt?
No.
Like the one that makes you poop?
No, that's something else. What was it? It's not
Oh,
Dannon.
probiotic or something like that? What's the one that makes you poop?
I don't they all make you poop?
That's true. I don't eat yogurt, so I don't know. Well, here's the deal. I love Halloween. I loved...
I gotta know the yogurt.
You're going to look up the yogurt now.
Activia.
Whatever. You know why they call it Activia? Because your sphincter gets active. All right, so anyways.
Oh my god, I'm sorry about my obnoxious laugh.
Yeah, hot takes. I got a lot of hot takes.
Okay, can
I
I
wish
get-
I loved these movies
But I
because
want to go back to it. You didn't let me finish my thing.
What do you
I
do
didn't
then?
get to answer the whole
you
question.
named some more people to piss people off.
What did I do?
You kept naming more final girls.
No, all right. I'm not pissing anyone off but you.
You're
'cause
pissing
I
me
said
off.
Sydney
When I
Prescott.
say you're pissing people off, I'm talking about what voice is in my head right now.
Oh my god. All right. Anyway, what's the next question?
Well, I mean, that's the thing, right? So
I'm excited for this movie.
you're excited. I am not.
Seems to me you're just plain scared.
Yes. Yeah, I am.
But I get to see Michael, and I get to see some scares maybe, and some cool gore, and I'm just gonna hear the soundtrack, and I'm already happy. But I'm not excited. I think that this is like, okay, now we have to end. So moving on, this is the end. That's what they call us. Halloween ends.
Yeah, it's the
This
end.
is the death of Michael Myers.
But is it though?
Well, here's what I'm going to ask you next. So when we come back,
Just don't give it to Rob Zombie. Okay.
well, they already did that.
No, don't give it back to Rob Zombie.
Is there somebody worse? Like, I mean, and that's my question next. What do you think about it coming back?
What
When
you
it
mean, like
mess-
getting rebooted all together?
Well, well, it would have to be, right? Because let's just say this, right? This made so much money. These two last movies
Yeah.
have made tons of money.
Yeah, which I'm kind of happy because honestly, that and Scream doing really good for horror fans. I mean, I know you don't want to admit it, but
No,
they're,
well,
they are.
when you say it that way, it makes me like
Well, I mean,
agitated
there's the
because
people go to the movies to see horror movies. Like
horror
I
movies are
love it.
successful. Yeah.
It makes me happy, and they're helping it along. Not to say I'm not saying that they are single-handedly responsible for that, but I mean they help the cause.
Yeah.
So like I want horror movies to keep coming to the theater because I love seeing horror movies in the theater. But yeah, I think this is
Yeah, I mean that's the question though. So it made so much money, and it is such a money maker for this company.
yep. They're not.
It's
they're
not going away.
No, they're not going to.
It
bring it
has
back.
to come back,
They won't.
and it's a necessary evil
Because then
we
it'll
know.
just make everything that they did in the last 3 movies completely,
Yeah.
they're just going to make it, the whole point is moot. Because why make Halloween Ends if you're just going to reboot the whole franchise? And
Because it's the end of this version of it. Because we're not going to have 70-year-old Michael again.
So you think they're just going to restart all over? I think
would.
that would be foolish. I think it would be foolish.
You're saying foolish. There is
Yeah.
no other way.
I mean,
Unless some other kid puts on the mask at the end of this movie and it starts again. And that guy's name is Damon. Damon Myers. It's his. In the 4 years, he had a kid named Damon in the 4-year gap. I mean,
raised on the farm
we know that
with Billy Sue.
Exactly, with Billy Sue. He was a corn farmer
Oh God.
in the middle of Haddonfield. Anyways, so yeah, that was my question. On coming back, and reboots.
Okay, I
Because
don't
they're
want to see
necessary
that.
evils that we're gonna get, regardless. It's just like Scream. They're beating it into the ground.
They
It's
are.
a dead horse.
They are beating into the ground.
They needed to move away from Sydney, but people can't get over Sydney. But they gotta get away from it.
People love Sydney.
How many relatives can Sydney have? How many fucking kill people?
Well,
can
what are they
come
going
out?
to do on the next one? I mean,
Well, she's not in it. And I say, I know you don't want to hear this. It's for the better. They need to move on.
I know, but
The-
what are they going to do? Keep having copycats and shit? I mean, it's getting stale already.
Part 4 was in the right direction. They were moving on. They had an idea for a 5 from 4, but at the last minute, they changed the ending and they made Sydney just kill the bad guy. And they had a really good idea to build up for going forward. And I wish they would have had the balls to do it. Instead, we got another rinse and repeat. And now they're asking them to come back again because that movie made a lot of money again.
I know, it's a
they're-
cash grab, but-
Sydney's like, Nev Campbell, she's like, I'm not coming back. And so now we're stuck because we're gonna have to get Gail Weathers' movie. And I don't necessarily want it. They
I mean,
need to
here's
move
the
on
thing. I mean,
and show
Dewey's dead.
another crazy dress like Ghostface and do it and have a new mystery and have a new movie. Just stop following these formulas that it was once self-referential, but now it's parodying itself. To me, it's almost like Scary Movie constantly, but whatever.
I know, and they keep
So,
making those. God.
I guess my last question to you about this reboot thing, because we know it's necessary, we know it's going to come.
Yeah.
How long?
Okay.
We're going to take bets.
Okay.
How long till the next reboot?
Oh, God. Well, I already just said that I don't want it, but that doesn't matter.
You just want Michael to go away, is what you're saying.
I think they need to leave Michael Myers alone after this.
Okay,
I do.
So tomorrow, because the rights are finally up, Jason's going to come back. Are you okay with Jason coming back? Because I got to tell you, the reboot was good. And they should have had a sequel. And I
Okay.
was looking forward to it. We never got it.
I do like all the Jason movies. Like, you know, there are some crap movies in there, but
and do you want it?
I don't really think we need it. But am I gonna go see it? Fuck yeah.
You're telling me tomorrow you're sitting on the couch and you're not excited that a new version of one of these movies is coming out?
I don't know if I'd be excited, but I would be like, okay, I'm gonna go see it.
We just got a Hellraiser reboot.
Yeah, and it wasn't like
No, but were you like, oh, cool?
I was cool. Yeah, I was like, cool.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
I was
you were
like, wow,
I
it's
can't
rad.
wait to see it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna feel that way about all these characters. Our new Freddy, like recently, Heather Langenkamp said, "I want to come back, and I want to fight Freddy for one more time."
How are
she
they gonna
wants to
do
do
that?
it all over again.
Okay, well, fine, but Robert Englund's not gonna play Freddy, and also
sucks.
Jackie Earle Haley was terrible. Okay,
It wasn't his fault. They gave him a bad movie.
you know.
Jackie Earle Haley is actually a good actor.
But we know that Robert Englund, even though he's like he's like 75 or something like
still
that,
do it?
he can still do it.
I think so.
He can
Doug
still
Bradley
do it.
could have done Pinhead.
Totally,
Yeah.
totally.
And it sucks that we just didn't get it.
But I mean, I would watch a new Nightmare on Elm Street for sure if Robert Englund and Heather Langenkamp came back together. Now that's nostalgia I would love to see.
I would watch Nightmare on Elm Street movie regardless.
Not if it's Jackie Earle Haley. I will never watch those again.
I
And
would still watch it. And you would too. And you know you
Jackie
would.
Earle Haley,
You would
having
watch-
known what I've seen before.
We
No.
just watched Return of the Living Dead, Rave the Grave. You would watch anything. Let's face facts.
I mean,
And
we
you're
watch
up for it.
everything,
And
yeah.
let's face, you're up for it.
Okay,
And
I
we
would.
all
All
are.
right, let me change my
We might
answer.
hate it.
Let me change my answer. I would watch it.
Yeah.
Would I be all in and excited?
You would be.
No.
Oh, come on. That day before, you would be like, I can't wait to watch it. We're watching the Chucky TV series. We actually just watched the newest episode right before taping.
I'm obsessed
And
with Chucky.
exactly. It's still hitting the beats. It's still doing a pretty damn good job. And so it makes me think there's always a possibility. Now, did the new Leatherface do it? No.
No.
Did the new Hellraiser do it for us? Nah, no, it was okay. You know, did Halloween Kills do it for us? No. But there's those Chuckies in the middle there. And I'm sure that new Jeepers Creepers is awful. And
Okay.
I'm looking forward to watching it, but I know it's going to suck.
It's good. I've heard some really,
So-
really bad things about it, and so I'm like, all right, we
But
put it
we're
off
all-
watching it.
We're
But-
always on board, is what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, because we're horror fans and we love that shit. But Even like we watch bad movies like it's our job. So like we're used to this.
It's our passion.
It's
We
our
love
passion.
movies,
Yeah, we
so-
love movies. So like we'll sit and watch like the worst of the worst
Exactly.
and we'll get entertainment out of it. A lot of people whenever we say that we watch bad movies, they're like, "Why would you watch a bad movie on purpose?"
yeah,
I'm like,
a lot of people say it.
a lot of people have said that to me. And I literally just say because it's fucking fun.
Yeah, that's the same thing I say.
But
It's-
with this movie, let's get back on track here with
Well-
Halloween Ends. What was the next question?
the question was, how long will it be before the next
okay.
reboot?
Sorry. Okay. I don't want to answer this because I don't want it to happen, but I will say that I'm going to give this 2 years.
2 years sounds perfect.
Yep. 2 years.
I'm gonna say 4, but 2 years is definitely when it's gonna start getting talked about.
Yep.
I think because that last 2 movies made like $150 million or something like that each. I mean, that is in Hollywood numbers for a movie that probably costs less.
Yeah.
Maybe 50 million.
For a horror movie?
It's a lot of money.
For a
Yeah.
horror movie, that's outstanding.
Yeah, and that was include 50 million. I'm guessing here. We didn't look up the numbers here, but I would guess $50 million for those movies, and I'm including advertisement, not just budget,
Oh, yeah.
because you double your
mean-
budget for advertising.
I mean,
And-
look what they're doing in Times Square.
Oh, I didn't see it.
You
What
see
was
that?
it?
Jamie Lee posted on Instagram, like they have a billboard the size of the Empire State Building, and she's like standing in front of it. She looks like a tiny little ant in front of it. It's amazing. And I'm like really happy for her because she's so in love with this franchise. I mean, the
Well,
way she talks about it.
She's doubling down on
You know?
that very big, yeah.
Yeah,
She's-
but I love her, but I really, you know what, to be honest with you, I'm giving it 2 years to get, revamped. But in this one, I would actually be happy and content if she went down with the ship.
Yeah, so you know what? I'm gonna ask you that one more question here to end this before we go watch it. I don't even know what time it is here.
Oh, time to go soon.
What do you think? Let's just take a guess here. How do you think this is gonna end? So you think they're gonna die together?
Well, that seems to be what the majority says, out there, that they're saying that they're probably going to go down together.
Oh, I don't read any of this stuff.
but,
so I try to make my own guesses.
No, I mean, when I talk to people that I know, that that's kind of like what they think is going to
Word on
happen.
the street.
Word on the street.
Word
The
on the
word
street
at the
says-
water cooler. No,
Oh
it's
my gosh.
we don't have a water cooler.
I know. Who does?
I know. So I think that how I think this is going to end is I do believe that they're going to go down together. That's it.
My biggest question is, they're virtually said he's immortal.
They said he is
He
like
said that
basically
He
supernatural.
literally became Bane in the last movie and souped up on Venom.
Yeah.
And he was like, death makes me really powerful. And Michael doesn't talk, so I'm sure he was like, but if he were to talk, he would have said, this killing makes me stronger.
It's like every time you kill somebody, he gets stronger.
What is that fucking bullshit? He was sitting in a jail cell standing still until someone brought him a mask.
Right. But
And
the
now he's
mask
like,
holds all the power.
That mask makes me feel something. I'm hungry for death. Like, come on. Are you fucking kidding me? You know what? I'm cool with it. Like, Jason's like, yeah, he's a monster. Freddy versus Jason doubled down on it. They have
Yeah.
powers. They kind of linked it. Very cool. Michael has not had that until this. Well, they had that whole group of witches or whatever the hell it was in
Yeah.
the 5 or 6.
Yep.
They kind of hyped up that. And you know what? I'm cool with that because at least it makes make sense. But here, they're not even trying. They're just like, oh, you know what? We keep giving him victims. He's getting stronger. And I say, fuck you, movie. Fuck you. Because
Dang.
holy shit, that's ridiculous to say now.
I know.
But in the end of this, the only way I can see it is they have to suck the power out of him. They have to somehow
Yeah.
drain him. Or unless they're saying that in 4 years, when he's been hiding out at the water park, and he's the guy who works the water park,
Oh.
and he does you can go now. You can go now.
Yeah.
That guy? Or maybe he's the guy who puts chlorine in. He's been sitting there at the water park, maybe for 4 years he didn't kill anybody. But what if he accidentally killed one person at the water park?
Oh,
Does he get powerful
dang.
again? And he's like, oh shit,
Oh.
I gotta kill more people.
You know what he did? He did it on the sly. He stopped the water from flowing and they got stuck and burned themselves.
There you go. I'm
Going
hoping
down
this
the
is scene. This is the longest before part of an.
It really is, and I think we should leave our folks with something really uplifting.
Well, my uplifting thought is Michael's been sitting there for 4 years, looking at the calendar, doing that joke, waiting for the Halloween.
Oh,
On the 4th
what,
year.
oh, can I do what Michael's got going on in his head right now?
Sure.
18 days till Halloween.
Do you think so?
Halloween, Halloween. 18 days till Halloween. Silver shamrock. Boom, it's in your head.
It is. Let's go watch this thing.
The good old days when we could eat as we wanted.
Yes, but we're not 18 anymore. Sometimes if I eat as I used to, my digestive system gets out of whack. It's not easy keeping it working as it should.
It's easy if you enjoy an Activia every day.
Delicious.
With the exclusive probiotic Bifidus regularis, Activia helps regulate your digestive system. Put a smile back in your day.
We're back. We just saw Halloween Ends. And for the first time, we're going to do before and after reviews. And then this is going to become talking trash. So quickly, let's give our after
Right?
summary review. Really quickly, for people who don't want spoilers, who are really looking forward to seeing this. You want to go first with your just a summary of how you feel
Okay. Well,
about this film?
I'm sure that you can tell from my monotone voice right now that I absolutely despised this film.
We are drinking coffee and we're drinking our drinks trying to wake up.
I'm flabbergasted at how bad this movie was. I didn't think it was going to be this bad. I didn't think it was going to be bad at all. I thought I would be entertained at least, and I was not even entertained. I thought the plot was terrible. It was the worst plot. I can't even imagine pretty much any Halloween movie ever made. It was so bad.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I would rather watch Season of the Witch on a loop for 3 days than watch this shit again.
Wow.
Okay, that's how I feel. I'm angry. I'm very bitter right now. I fucking hated this movie.
Okay, so that's your quick summary.
That's my summary.
I'm going to say that it's obvious when someone doesn't have a plan for a trilogy. This is a film that has an idea, has an interesting idea and voice, but has no idea how to execute it and how to reach it. And this is exactly what happens when you have money thrown at you and you're told to do a sequel. Because what we get is an omelet that's undercooked and full of shit. And so
Shit omelet.
a shit omelet. Yeah, so my quick summary would be this was a complete disaster for me. Some interesting ideas, just terribly executed. So now we're going to go into talking trash, which we absolutely love doing.
Talking trash.
Talking trash.
Talking
And
trash.
this is where we're going to dissect this entire film. So if you don't want to hear spoilers, don't listen forward.
Yeah, now's the time to click off.
We're going to rip this thing up because I really think the only way to review this thing properly is to talk it out because it's insane.
It's the only way because I can't get my head around it.
Yeah.
And we talked with our friends after the movie and I still could not get my head around it.
Yeah, we had a group of 6 people.
Yeah.
I think 6 people, and 5 of those people were mind blown about what happened, and only one of them said, "Okay, it was okay."
Mm-hmm.
So you know what? It was good to have that 5 out of 6 doctors approve. 5 out of 6 of these doctors disapproved, and you got that one doctor.
Yeah, the
who's
one
okay.
doctor who's going to kill the patient.
Yeah. So yeah, spoilers start now. It's time to talk this movie out. And now I've tried to come up with the timeline of how things happen. And I'm going to say, I'm not going to get a lot of things right. There's going to be a lot of things wrong here because it's not fresh enough. And so much craziness happens in this film and so little happens. So I did my best on trying to get it. So I might not get every fact completely right, but this is how my mind saw this film. So this movie starts out. We are now, I would say, maybe a year after the events of Halloween Kills. I think it's about a year. We're with a kid who's going to babysit
Well, no, they're
another
saying
child.
it's 4 years.
No, not yet. Not yet. I would get to that. It's been, I think, 1 year or 2 years since the events.
Okay.
We're meeting a kid named Corey, and he is going to babysit a little shit demon child. And his parents, they're loaded. They have the most beautiful house you can imagine. Mm-hmm. And it's huge. The attic in this place is a whole house. He's going to babysit this kid. They tell you, hey, this kid, don't give him any candy. He's scared of Michael Myers. Ever since the incident Michael Myers, he's been afraid of a lot of things. Okay. So he says, don't give him candy. Put him to bed soon. You know, whatever. And he's like, yeah, I got it. Don't make him watch horror movies. First thing they do, they watch The Thing. He makes this little kid watch The Thing.
Yep.
And hey, guess what? John Carpenter exists in this movie, in this universe.
In this
So I
universe.
guess he didn't make Halloween,
Right.
the one that would have made him make The Thing.
Right.
Okay. So, all right, it's right
That's
there.
a good observation.
So he watches The Thing, and then we really find out that this kid is a piece of shit because he starts insulting the babysitter and tells Corey, you're an ugly bastard, and I really don't want to be with you.
Yeah, he's just mean. He's just like
Why
totally
couldn't I have a
mean.
hot girl? And Corey's like, well, fuck you, kid. And he goes to get some zucchini bread from the kitchen that's just left on the counter perfectly with a knife.
Yep.
Because, you know, you got a little bastard child running around your house. Might as well leave a giant knife out. Mm-hmm. He goes to get the zucchini bread, and he hears something. He goes up, and he sees the kid's missing. The front door is open, and someone's running behind him. So he's like, holy shit. And you're automatically assuming Michael Myers is in the house. And we're going to
I
get...
definitely assumed that.
Yeah, because they're also setting up the kid is afraid of him and says he sees him at night, and he pees his bed.
Yep.
So you think maybe Michael's been hiding out in his house for a year or two. I don't know how long it's been. We don't know where he's been. Because he's on the loose, they say, since the last movie. But no, it's not that at all. So he goes upstairs. But he follows upstairs. He goes upstairs. He thinks his kid's in trouble. And he goes upstairs and he gets locked in the attic. It turns out the little kid was fucking with him. And he locks him in the attic and tells him, you're scared, you're a scaredy person and all that kind of stuff. And he's like insulting him. And he's starting to freak out because
He
he's
calls
in
him
there.
like a little bitch or whatever.
Yeah, Corey starts freaking out. Rightfully so. He's scared. He's like, holy shit, you know? Now, how this kid set up, he opened the front door, ran out the front door apparently, went behind him, somehow got behind him and scared him, and then went upstairs and screamed. Mm-hmm. How the fuck he did all that, who knows? So, Corey's freaking out, so he rightfully starts hitting the door open exactly the same time the parents are getting home. Perfect timing. This movie should have been called Perfect Timing.
Yeah, he's trying to get out of the attic.
Yeah.
Is it the attic or is it
Yeah.
just like a bedroom upstairs?
No, it's the attic. It's creepy.
It's a weirdly placed
huge.
attic.
Yeah.
It's not even like at the top of the house. It's strange. But anyway, so
Well, there's
yeah.
a staircase behind him, I believe, that goes even further up.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's really odd. Well, he bashes the door open. The kid gets smashed in the face and flies off the balcony and dies right in front of the parents. He splats.
Yeah. It was
Amazing opening right off the bat.
amazing.
And the woman looks up at him. Corey's standing there with a knife at the top of the stairs and looks like a serial killer. And she screams, "What did you do?" Cut to one of the most fantastic open title shots of Halloween yet. It's all the pumpkins morphing out of each other, and then they keep getting closer and closer to the screen. And right at the last moment, it rips in half, and you go through the guts of the pumpkin. So cool. And I was automatically going, holy shit, this is one of the best openings. He just killed a little bastard child. This kid is going to be set up for some interesting plot line, and I'm already sympathetic toward him. So I'm really fascinated where they're going to go. And where they go next is the downfall start.
Yeah. Well, it was an accident what happened to the kid. I mean,
Yeah,
they
'cause
didn't
he's
mean
freaking
to
out.
kill him.
Now we start off with Laurie Strode. A narration from her.
Yeah, the narrating is the thing that just irks me.
Oh my God. I just want to say Brian Cox in Adaptation says, and God help you if you use narration in your film. It's one of my favorite parts in a movie, and I think
Yeah.
about it every time I hear narration. It doesn't work. This narration is awful. It's full of cheesy dialogue about the boogeyman, about shapes, about creepiness luring and coming into our world, and it is so ham-fisted, it is so cheesy that it makes everything that you're seeing laughable. So we instantly follow her narrating, and we see that the town of Haddonfield 4 years later, we're told.
4 years.
It's 4 years since the last movie. She's narrating about how the town has become corrupt with violence and death, and people are scared, and Michael Myers has never been found, and he creeped into everybody. So we're seeing that people have committed suicide, we're seeing people have been murdered, and we see Laurie standing at all these events, which is like a serial killer standing at a murder scene.
Yeah, like a montage as she's narrating of all the events in Haddonfield that have happened since the Michael Myers incident of Halloween Kills.
Yes. To hammer this forward, we see that Laurie is actually writing a book, and so this dialogue is a part of her book, right? That's where it gets crazy, right? Because we find out that Corey was let off, he was in jail or whatever.
Well, he
there
was
was a court.
acquitted for the murder of the kid.
We don't know how long he was in jail and how long this court thing happened, but he was let go.
They just skipped over it, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I know that opening was a couple years, and this was a couple years later after that, because there's definitely been some time. And Corey, in the opening, he was talking about how he wanted to go to college and he had this whole plan of life. And so now we go forward and we find out that now Corey is working at a junkyard. His life is destroyed. He doesn't drive. He's riding a little bicycle around. He's constantly almost getting hit by cars. This is a weird setup. This movie does so many strange setups with no payoffs. So in this movie, there's multiple times a car almost kills him. And it's shown in a way where it's setting it up like Final Destination, like this is how it's going to end for this character.
Yep.
It never comes back.
No, it doesn't.
It's just weird thing. And I also have to set up this one other weird thing with Corey. In the opening of the movie, there's a setup that chocolate milk also represents things going bad for Corey. This is another crazy thing. In the opening...
But how are we supposed to even know that as the audience?
Well, I'm going to tell you because the movie keeps showing you this. And it is so weird because, again, this has no payoff, right? So in the opening of the movie, when he goes to get the zucchini bread, he decides to pick chocolate milk of all the drinks. He thinks about a Heineken, and then he's like, no, I'm going to have chocolate milk. And that's when the kid starts screwing with him in the house, and he gets freaked out. He never drinks the chocolate milk. So again, we find out the same thing happens again with him, is he almost gets hit by this car again, and he goes to a gas station, and he goes in there and looks at drinks. The woman working at the gas station, everybody in this movie is a scumbag. Everybody is an asshole to everybody. So the woman working at the gas station is like, you're going to buy something or what? And he grabs a chocolate milk. And he goes outside to drink the chocolate milk. A car full of cartoon characters get out. And they stop at the thing. They're like high school kids. They say they're in band. Now,
well, the one girl's wearing like a band costume, like a band outfit.
One of them has drumsticks to let you know that he's in band. And he's also got a mullet. And then there's another one who seems like he's wearing a jersey. Maybe it's a band jersey. It's like a Letterman jacket. Then there's another one that looks like they stepped out of the 90s grunge.
Yeah, she didn't make any sense.
Does these 4 people seem like they don't exist in the same universe? They feel like they're all standing from a different movie? This entire movie feels like it's stuck in 89. It's very strange.
Actually, looking at these 4 characters just goes along with the cliche that we always say, that how are this group of people friends with each other?
Yeah, they're not.
Because there's no way that these people have anything in common.
Yeah.
They are completely different humans.
Yeah.
So, yeah, with these 4 people, I felt like I was in different decades. The
whole
Letterman
movie.
jacket kid, he looked like he stepped out of the 90s. The kid with the mullet, he looked like he just stepped out of the 80s hairband.
Yeah, and I made a joke that they all look like they were the cast of Degrassi. It's wild, all right? They get out of the car. Now, I know everybody knows this, and I haven't been in high school for a very long time, an old fart now, but maybe I missed this, but band kids are the bad guys now?
Bad guys, you mean like the punkers?
The bullies?
So yeah.
Band kids.
Band kids are now the bullies.
They're bullies.
They're the cool kids, because when I went to high school, they were not the cool kids.
And these
they
kids
were
are
the
not cool.
nerds.
Yeah,
they
these
were
kids are
the
cool.
nerds. And these kids in this movie, like, you do not get bully vibe from any of them.
What's the first thing they do? They ask Corey, can you buy us liquor?
Yeah, because
Hey,
Corey's 21. We learned that. So
They don't know. They're guessing. He looks young.
Yeah.
he's riding a bicycle.
Right.
And they go up to him and then they're like, get us liquor. And he's like, I can't. Why not? You know, how dare you? You can't help us out? Right? And then he's like, oh, I know you. You're that freak that killed that kid and got away with it.
They immediately start getting belligerent on him.
So they bully him. They push him. And he falls and he cuts his hand on the chocolate milk that he couldn't drink.
Yeah. The bottle breaks and like
He
it was
falls.
like
It's
gouge.
in his hand.
It
Yeah.
was like, a gouge. And
And then one girl's like,
who's on this
leave him
scene?
alone. But all the other kids are like, shut up. And they're like, the three other kids are like, fuck you, you're a piece of shit. And they're laughing at him. He's cut on the floor. He's hurt and he's bleeding. So this exact time, Laurie shows up and is like, hey, kids, get away from him. Right? And they're like, oh, look at you. Another crazy with this crazy. Two crazies. You guys deserve each other. And they walk away laughing. And Laurie helps him up. And they have a good moment. And you feel really bad for Corey. Like instantly going, this poor kid's life is destroyed. It's over for him. And you feel bad for him. And Laurie and him meeting, Laurie's like, hey, do you want to do it or I? And she gives him a switchblade to pop the tires of their car. And he does it. And they're like, yeah. And she's like, I'm going to take you to my granddaughter to stitch you up your hand. So they get to the hospital and you see Laurie's granddaughter, Allison?
Allison.
Okay, Allison. Allison instantly looks at Corey and wants to have sex with him.
That's what it seems like. I'm like, wait a minute.
You can't tell. The first thought you have is they've known each other. And I kept thinking, was Corey in the first movie, the 2018 one?
No.
And everybody told me he wasn't. Okay, because they're having tension, like they know each other well. She's acting like, holy shit, you're so cute. So much so that they bumble the surgery on his hand a little bit, and the doctor's like, God damn it, pick it. Everybody's a cartoon character. Everybody is insane. The doctor's like screaming at her, God damn it, pick it up. Right in front of the patient.
It's just like everybody's an asshole. Like,
yeah.
But I have a hard time believing that this girl would work for a guy like that. Allison, the granddaughter. Like, after everything she's been through, I would feel like her patience is thin enough, you know, that she shouldn't be there. But it's weird.
Well, Allison's giving, like, I have a bet on my back eyes to Corey. And Corey's just not having it. He's so shy. And rightfully so. He's been through a lot of shit and he's probably untrusting. And he says, you shouldn't let him talk to you like that. You know, he sounds like a bad guy. You shouldn't let him talk that. She's like, oh, he says much worse usually. And he's like, you deserve better. So she's like, I want to fuck you bad, right?
She doesn't
say
that.
it, but it's so, she keeps doing eyes, right? It's so hilarious.
I mean,
right?
she obviously likes him, but like we don't really know why yet.
You don't understand. And when you do find out, it is bizarre. Laurie, feels good that she's hooking these two up, right? Because he goes outside. She has problems with her tailpipe on her car. And he's like, I can fix it. Come to the lot where I work and I can just fix it real quick for you. And he gets under her car with his clothes and he's like scraping them up and he's really getting in. And she's like, you don't have to do that. And he's like, no, it's really easy. I can take care of this for you. She starts cleaning off his back. She's giving him like a back massage. And he's like, oh, and she's like, maybe we should go out for food sometime together. Maybe we should go out. And he's like, I don't know if that's a good idea, but you know, I would like to, but I don't know if it's a good idea. You should really come to the lot and I'll fix your car. And she says, well, what about your bike? It's all messed up now. It's okay. I got a motorcycle now from the guy I work with. The guy at the lot gave him a motorcycle. We're gonna get into
Isn't that his...
Well, we don't know that. When we find that out, it's not even told. We don't really know what's going on.
I assumed that man was his father.
We didn't know that. He was just working at this junkyard, and he was given a motorcycle, and he calls him. He's like, thanks, in his name. And he's like, don't mention a kid. Right? And so we don't really know anything about that. He's always late, so the guy gave him a motorcycle. So he's like, I got a motorcycle now. And she's like, oh, I never rode on a motorcycle. And he's like, I can teach you. It's really easy. They're giving each other, like, I want to hook up with you vibes, right?
Yeah, I just don't get it, though. It doesn't come through like that. It's weird. First of all, Corey, the character of Corey, is very strange from, 10 minutes in.
Yeah. You think he's strange? Like you said, you think he's strange?
I think he's strange. Yeah, not in the first 5 minutes of the movie. But
I don't think
after
so.
that, I feel like, he's been through some trauma, and he's just there's something not right with him.
He was probably locked up for a little bit. He was probably in jail. He was probably had a court case. He's been through so much shit, and his life is like done.
But he comes off as awkward and strange.
Yeah,
so like automatically, the first reaction that this girl's gonna have of him is not, ooh.
No, he's not giving off a vibe of any sexuality.
No,
he's giving off a vibe of I've been through stuff. I'm suffering from trauma,
which she also has. So maybe it's relatable. But she doesn't really know all that to the extent, you know.
Well, she does. We find out, but everybody does. That's another thing. Haddonfield is tiny. In fact, the movie makes it seem like everybody lives on one road, which is funny because when you think about the last one, well, 2018, Laurie lived in a farm.
Yeah, she lived on like a farm. Yeah.
So yeah, let's get into that a little more. Laurie and the granddaughter now live together. They seem like they have a really happy life. Now, let's just break down what has happened to these two characters, right? In 2018, Laurie was a recovering alcoholic living on a farm. She's not even a recovering alcoholic. She's a full-blown alcoholic.
Yeah, she's like a full-blown.
She's a recluse and a nutcase that's been training for her entire life, 40 years, to fight Michael Myers again. Now, that's insane in itself because the original events of Michael Myers was like, I think 4 people died.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think it was only like 3. Didn't he like kill only 3?
But she's waiting for 40 years to fight him. So she's been trained. She's nuts. She's so detached from her family that she's out of her mind. And so then we cut forward. It all comes true. Michael does show up at her house. It's not that he's hunting her. He gets dropped off there. And she fights him. And she should kill him. And then shit goes wrong. And in the second one, he gets released. Now, in that second one, everybody dies. Now, she's waiting for 40 years to fight him. 4 people die. And then he kills, I would say, between 2018 movie and Halloween Kills, he kills at least 50 people.
Yeah, he does.
In Halloween Kills, he kills an entire fire station of people. He kills her son, and all of Allison's friends. Every one of them dies. And all of the returning characters from the original movie all get murdered at the end by Michael Myers. And now we jump into this movie, and it's been 4 years since 50 fucking people are dead. The entire town has been decimated by this. And he's still on the loose. And now remember, let's just break this down. 40 years she waited because 4 people got killed. She trained to fight him. But now that he's on the loose and 50-something people have dead, she just gives up.
Yeah, she gives up. They're
And she's
living a happy life.
life.
Yep.
Her daughter is dead.
She's not like overly preoccupied the fact that Michael is still lurking about.
No.
She doesn't even care anymore.
She's baking pies. She's burning pies. They're having a good old time.
She burned the pie. But like, yeah, she's just baking pies.
She's
and
writing a book.
just having a great time. She's writing a book. See, that's what blows my mind. She's writing a book about Michael, but she's not preoccupied with where the fuck he is.
She's not setting up traps. Now, can we also talk about one more thing? Where is Laurie's money coming from?
Yeah, I don't know what the hell she's doing because they seem to have nice houses.
Yeah.
So I don't know
she's living in another great house with no job again. And also, do you know how many times we reference how many people were killed in the last movie? 0. Are we going to reference that Tommy was killed in the end of the movie
oh my God,
brutally?
So many people.
0. Do they talk about Laurie's daughter dying? Nope. 0. They don't talk about it once. They just say, she died. My mom died.
Yep. They don't talk about Big John or Little John.
We don't get to talk about anybody, which is funny because later on we do have one character returning.
Yeah,
so we'll get to that. But
Laurie literally just goes on with her life. Everything is fine. And the fact that Michael has escaped the lynch mob and done everything in his power. He killed so many people and he's now missing. And Laurie doesn't even think about it or care about it. She just has gone on with her happy life. It's so freaking bizarre.
Yeah. And again, doubling down on this narration thing in her book where she's mentioning the boogeyman and they say the boogeyman so many times. that it sounds so childish, and
Yeah,
it just
you know
does
why?
not work.
Because in the first one, Lindsay said boogeyman a
Yeah,
lot.
so they have to double down on it because it's nostalgia again. But to double down on that, what really bothers me, and I don't know how you feel about this, but this idea the movie is trying to talk about with her narration is that trauma affects an entire town. Now, of course it does, right? Everybody feels that loss. But this is suggesting that because trauma happens, everybody goes insane in a town. Now, we live in a place where there was a tragedy, and that tragedy didn't affect everybody in a negative way. In fact, kids stood up and got better for it, and they try to do something good. That's inspiring, and it's inspirational. To kind of start this narration like, oh, tragedy and the boogeyman affects everybody. It's like that is a weak, terrible stereotype. That is just, I don't know what they're getting at. I don't know what his view is, and I feel like because there is so many writers for this, and I'm sure there was so many reshoots. We'll talk about that more because it's so obvious in a couple of scenes that any story they're setting up here is completely washed out with that idea. If they want to explore that, and the way that they do explore that, it's kind of insulting.
They should be brought together as a town, I feel.
Yeah, if anything, maybe stronger.
Yeah.
And
but they don't mention anything. I mean, a little boy she used to babysit for got brutally murdered in the last one.
Mm-hmm.
And
yep,
she's just
all
like,
the kids.
oh, okay. And, it's bizarre. She feels, she has emotions in certain times, where you're kind of just like, what? Now you care? You care about... She cared about this kid who was getting, a little roughed up at the freaking gas station. But she doesn't give a shit about the 50 plus people that were murdered.
I mean, I think she does. She's writing a book about how she can deal with trauma. Now, this character was already over the edge. To say that now, she just said, fuck it.
Right, that's the thing. She got stabbed in the gut, okay? She barely made it out alive. Yeah. And people she cared about actually got murdered, especially her daughter and her son-in-law. And now she's just clear of all of that. She's just through it. She's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, but you're not, obviously, because you're writing a book, so he's still there. He's still there.
Yeah.
But if I were in her position in this movie, I would be so fucked in the head. I would be in a mental institution.
If anything, she would be worse than the first movie.
Yes. It does put off the wrong message. It does, for sure.
Yeah, because everybody seems like they became an asshole.
It seems
and
like...
in real life, that's not how that happens.
That wouldn't happen.
Sure, there's grief, and there's all that, and that's interesting to explore the grief, but to say that the entire town just becomes dirtbags is...
Right.
Why wouldn't everybody move?
Why
wouldn't this become, like...
I don't feel like she would be treated by people the way she's treated in this movie. Because she was right about everything. She was right. Michael is back. Michael is going to kill everybody, and he did.
Yeah.
And she was right, and she tried to stop him, and...
Well, everybody was like, Lori. Everybody was all about her in the second one. They were outside the hospital. Come on, evil dies tonight.
Yeah, and they were like on her side and stuff, and now all of a sudden...
Well, yeah, we'll get to that because we're not at that yet, where
like,
they tell us that people are mad at her, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, like what is going on in this movie? Like they're not banding together and trying to find some solace, after anything. It's just like everyone just moved on. It's like let's take the easy route. Let's skip forward 4 years and just say, she went through something and she's better now. But Michael's still out there.
Yeah, and that's what's crazy. And I will point this out to you, too, and I don't know how you feel about this, but I think you'll probably feel the same. This Lori is completely a different Lori than the last two. It doesn't even seem like those movies happened.
It doesn't seem like...
She seems like a whole nother person.
A completely different Lori.
In fact, I would point out that she seems more like her H2O self.
Yeah, she kind of does.
It's very strange. Oh, and also, we have a DJ. We have to point this out because the movie keeps playing the DJ over and over, and the DJ is a scumbag too. He's telling everybody, "Ooh, Michael Myers killed people. He's still out there. He's coming to get you kids," and it's funny. I'm like, what is this shit? And why would anybody be okay with it? Right? So we hear in that, and we see billboards for him. He is a 1970 something character. He doesn't look like he exists at all. Like, he's another cartoon character, and his billboards are even
Yeah,
funny.
you can't even tell what timeline you're in.
Just this guy, he's got his own radio tower. He's got his own place in town. He's popular. He seems like he's important.
Yeah, I mean, it's a
really
small
strange.
town also. So, like, they're, they probably only have, like, one DJ, one radio station.
Sure. And he's making a career off of haunting everybody off the shit that happened in this town, which is insane. But
I mean, everyone in this movie is unlikable, in my opinion.
We're going to now say that... So Allison's driving home, and now remember, everything takes place on the same street. So this one street that looks busy at one point goes to a bridge, and then there's no one ever on this bridge except the character that's taking place at the time. Mm-hmm. So Allison is driving over this bridge, because everybody does in this movie. She gets pulled over by a cop. The cop turns out to be a guy she went on a couple dates with. He's obsessed with her. He's like, I pulled you over because you're hot. Now, he looks like he's 15 years older than her.
Yeah, he does. He looks like he's like 50.
He again seems like he is in the Dukes of Hazzard. He does not seem like he's in whatever year this is supposed to be taking place.
Nobody looks like they're in the right year.
He says, well, you should call me. You know, I've been waiting for your phone call. And she's like, oh, yeah. And he's like, well, I really pulled you over because you got that tailpipe hole. You got to get it fixed. So she's like, I will. And I guess she's going to go to the junkyard to get it fixed with, that kid, Corey. But we zoom down, and we see that there's a homeless man living in a camping tent under the bridge, and there's a tunnel into a sewer system under the bridge perfectly. And we zoom into it, and we know someone's watching. I wonder who it is. So, because, when the cops are looking for a serial killer that killed 50 people, never look in the sewer. Just don't do it.
No.
Don't go near where the bums are hanging out either.
Yeah, why bother?
Yeah, why bother? So she goes to the junkyard to get her car fixed now because the cop stopped her. The muffler's hanging off, but she actually just wants to see Corey. Corey shows her his motorcycle, and she gets on. He goes, get on. And he gets right behind her, and he starts showing her. And she is really into the fact that he is up against her. She's making faces, and she's like, I'm into this.
Which I'm still not... I mean, they've only had one other encounter, which was the hand at the
she is in.
Urgent care.
She is down for some of this. She is down for some Corey.
Weird. It's so weird that this character, Allison, likes this kid. We don't even know why. He's so weird. He's a very strange person. We don't see what attracts her to him, why she's even into him. It seems like she's more into him than he is, with her.
Yeah.
It's just bizarre.
Right off the bat, when he's like flirting with her and she's behind him, a car shows up and his boss yells, hey, Corey, you got to help with this. And it turns out the bully that he flattened the tires of, his father has towed his car in because his son doesn't know how to change the tires. And the father is slapping that bully kid in the head. And he's like, oh, shit. Corey's like, oh, shit, I did this, So he's like, you got to help this. And he's like, all right, I got to go do this, and I'll fix your car real quick. And she goes, yeah, but I want you to go to a Halloween party with me. And he's like, I don't know. I'm not really good in these situations and stuff like that. And she goes, I want you to go anyways. And he goes, I don't have a costume. She goes, I'll take care of that. I don't remember them exchanging numbers, but Corey now has her phone number. And we see Corey's family life, and we find out that his boss is his stepfather or his father. I don't really know, but he's eating dinner with his incredibly obnoxious mother, who is batshit crazy.
Yeah, she's batshit.
Again,
I mean, everybody
another
in this
fake
movie
character.
is just like she's a parody of herself.
Yeah, she is unreal. Now Corey starts getting text messages from Allison saying, "I have the Halloween costume for you." Right, and he's trying to hide it from his mother, and his mother's like, "Ah, damn it! Who's texting you? What are you doing? You know what? People who text message aren't going to get custard for dinner."
I know,
after
she's
dinner.
So weird. Like, she treats him like he's a little boy.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
And then, what happened to your hand? Oh my God, you gotta... She says to her, I don't know who the guy is. Stepfather? I don't know who
Let's
he
just
is.
assume he's the stepfather.
She says, you gotta take care of my son better. Right? And then she leaves to go clean the dishes or whatever, and the father's like, hey, don't tell her about the motorcycle. That's just gonna freak her out. Cut to Allison and Corey now are meeting up to do Halloween, and she gives him a scarecrow mask. It's like a cheap plastic
It's like
scarecrow.
a clown. I thought it was a clown.
No, it's a scarecrow head.
Oh.
It's like a little hat.
Not that it matters.
It's got a little hat and a little face.
Not that it matters at all.
Well, he wears it a lot in this one. So, and she is dressed, I don't know, a witch maybe? She looks like she's just wearing a goth dress.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even really a costume.
Yeah. And we find out that the most popular bar, maybe the only bar that exists in Haddonfield after the last events, is this bar that they're in. There's 2 pool tables. It seems very small. The owner or the person running it, it turns out to be one of the original movie characters that
Lindsay.
survived the last movie. She's running the place. And they have a rave in this little bar, and they are like having a ball. And Allison and him are getting drunk, and they're dancing all over each other, and this is a great time. And you kind of feel happy that Corey is experiencing something good.
Yet again, they had not had one single conversation to even like make us think, or realize why they connected at all. Like, why are these 2 people connecting?
Yeah, no, I agree.
It's so weird. It's like they were just thrown together. It was so weird.
Yeah.
I didn't feel anything about their like little like thing that they had. There was no connection. It was just weird.
Agreed. So they're having a great time, and I gotta tell you, at this point in the movie, I was thinking, this is bizarre. The writing is strange. I don't know what this is, but I do like this Corey guy, and I'm hoping he's going to be like the hero lead or whatever. I don't know where they're going to go at this point because I was baffled. And like I said in the before thoughts, I was saying that where could they go? And I never expected in a million years it would be something like we're getting right now at this point in this movie. So they're having a great time, and he goes to the bar to get some drinks. Allison's friend, who works with her at the doctor's office, she is a really, like an asshole. She's like a motor mouth asshole.
Always one of those smart ass, slutty, just annoying side characters in horror movies where like, she's the one that always is flirty with the doctors and the,
Which you don't even
the
see
boss.
until later. Yeah.
And she's always the one with her boobs out and always making snarky comments.
Yeah, and she was like, "Are you gonna fuck that crazy kid?"
Yeah, I mean,
She's like saying crazy stuff like that to her.
It was just things that this, why would that come out of your mouth at that moment?
She says, and Allison replies, "I can be with whoever I want, and right now, I'm with him."
Yeah.
It's really strange.
And
then
like,
the
why?
girl,
The dialogue is so weird.
the bartender, the woman from the other ones, she says, "Allison, you be with whoever you want to be with."
Yeah.
Oh,
Lindsay
okay.
says that.
Yeah.
Lindsay, who, as a child suffered trauma, having Michael Myers in her house. Oh, yeah, just go ahead and trust that guy. He was almost a convicted murderer. He looks normal, too.
He was let off.
But he behaves very strangely.
At this point, I just think he acts like a kid who's definitely been through some trauma. The characters are all talking to each other like aliens. Like, they don't seem like
the dialogue
humans.
does not fit in
Yeah.
whatsoever. It doesn't feel like two human people having a conversation.
Yeah. So Corey goes to the bar to get a beer for them while they're dancing. And just so happens that the mother of the child that he accidentally knocked over the thing is sitting there waiting to pounce on him. She's staring at him, and she goes, "You having a good time? You're smiling. You know what I'm thinking about? My dead child. You took him from me. You piece of shit. Is not a day I don't think about. And Corey's like, I'm sorry. No, he's drunk and he's having a good time. And this is like done. He's devastated, like instantly, and rightfully so. So he runs out. He just runs out. Now they make it a point to show that he left his scarecrow mask on the table. That I don't know why that was shown, and I don't know how it comes back, but it strangely does in a weird way, but not in a payoff that you think it's going to be.
I think they did that because he's eventually going to get a new one.
No, because he wears it again. He goes out in the street, and Allison sees that he ran out, so she runs after him. And they run out, and they're now on the side of a busy road. I couldn't help but think one of them's going to get hit by a car. I don't know what it was. The way that the scene was shot and the way that the movie kept setting up cars almost hitting Corey, I thought, this kid's going to get hit by a car. I don't know where this is going. I don't know what this is. And how many minutes would you say this is into the film?
Right now, I'd say we're at least 40 minutes in. We have to be.
Wow. If I was going to say 30 minutes, but maybe you're right. And that's crazy because we have not seen Michael Myers yet.
Yep. Now we're literally in. We have to be at least 40 minutes in.
Yeah. Because now we get explained what is really happening here, why Allison's so into him. Allison says, I care about you, and I like you, and we're having a good time. Don't leave. And he says, you don't understand. You don't understand. I'm messed up. I've done bad things, like I did something terrible. She says, no, you don't understand, right? And now this is where I could not stop noticing the editing in this film. This movie keeps showing clips or things that you think are payoffs, and usually the movie does that to establish a payoff. This movie never pays off any of those things.
It doesn't.
Like there's a knife missing on the zucchini bread. It doesn't really matter.
No.
He grabs it later on. He finds it somewhere else, and he has it with him. But it's not important. The chocolate milk, not important. It's just showing you that this is where his life goes wrong every time with the chocolate milk, right? He almost gets hit by a car. Doesn't come back. But this scene is filmed in a weird way. And you just feel like any moment someone's going to get killed here, but I don't know what it is, right? To double down on this, Allison's hands are suddenly up in a hold my hand position, but you can tell that they edited out a scene or a conversation to make that make sense. But it's just there, and it's not explained, and there's no dialogue to it.
Yeah.
And
it was the weirdest scene, too. And it was like, she was just holding her hands up, like
in a
she
weird...
wanted him to hold her hands or something.
Yeah, it's weird.
And then she put her hands over her face. That was weird.
I didn't even remember that. But she says to him, I like you because I see you. When I first saw you, I saw you. Not all the things people said about you. Because they look at me and they don't see me either. They see what happened to us. And that's why I care about you.
Because finally some kind of interest, explanation of why.
And it's a weak one.
Yeah, it is.
She's like, that's why I like you. Because I can see the real you. And he says, no, you're wrong. What the truth is they see a psychopath with me. They see a killer. They see a bad person. With you, they see a survivor and a hero. I don't know about a hero. She didn't do anything. Like, all right, whatever. So he runs off and she starts crying, right? And now he's got to walk. And of course, since there's only one road, this road goes over the bridge. Because
where
the only road.
The homeless guy, above where the homeless guy
lives.
This is
the bridge that we were earlier. Again, there's like so many cars going past them when they're talking on the side of the road, and then when he's walking over the bridge, no cars, but one car shows up.
Oh, guess who it is?
Yeah, guess who it is? The bullies found him.
The 4 bullies, the band camp kid, the mullet kid, the Letterman jacket kid, and the girl who just stepped out of a Nirvana video.
Yeah. And they instantly jump out, stop the car in the middle of the road, jump out, and harass him. The one girl is like, hey guys, calm down, stop, leave him alone. And they're like, shut the fuck up. The other 3 want to beat him up. There's even one other girl, and she's like, get that bastard. Why?
Yeah, like why? Why do you want to hurt this kid?
Yeah, and so they do. He actually stands up for himself here. He actually tries. He says, you don't understand. You and me are the same. Your father bullies you and treats you like crap because he has no one else. He has no one else as his punching bag. That's how he sees you, and that's why you're acting out against me. That's why you're a bully. And then he's like, what you call me? So the other kid holds him back, and they start punching him. And they knock his glasses off, and they smash his glasses. And then they throw him over the bridge.
I know. Like, are you murderers? Like,
Yeah.
what is wrong with you?
There's no water under this bridge. He just hits the ground.
He hits the ground.
And they're like, oh, shit. And the one girl's like, oh, my God, what did you guys do? And he's like, nothing. You better shut your fucking mouth and not say anything. Right? What good friends these are.
Yep.
They get in a car, and they're like, woohoo, and they leave. Now we see Corey's just laying in the ground, and then someone comes out of the shadows of the tunnel and pulls Corey in and fade away. And we see the bum seeing it going, oh. Right?
Yep.
So fade to the next day, and we see Lori going to a supermarket. And Lori runs into Will Patton from the last one, who is the cop who should be dead, somehow survived his wounds from the first one, from 2018. And he's somehow alive. And these 2 and 4 years are still not together, even though in the hospital they basically told each other they like each other.
Yeah. Why weren't they
Fucking
together?
weird.
Why weren't it's so weird?
Yeah. So they have an awkward moment where they're talking and they're flirting, and he tells her, I want to go see the cherry blossoms, and I'm learning Japanese. Okay, weird. So cherry blossoms becomes a plot point between these characters and kind of Laurie's plot. And they go to the register and they flirt, and she says, I like seeing your face. And he says, I really like seeing your face. And, everybody working there is like, ooh.
Normal. Everything's fine.
And they're like, basically, we want to hook up. And she leaves, and they're like awkward. And I don't know what Patton's like, well, we should see more of each other. We should go to dinner. Anything. Nope. She actually tells him, like, he doesn't know this. I'm living with Allison. We have a nice house. Mm-hmm. How does he not know? So in 4 years, you guys never talked?
Never talked in 4 years?
What is happening?
Like, didn't you ever go out on that date that you invited her out to?
Or when the murders, after the murders happened, they both were in the hospital together and they got out of the hospital. They weren't in recovery together. Nothing ever happened between them.
No, never had coffee, nothing.
Nothing.
Just
or
stopped
talked
talking
about any of it. Yeah.
In a small town.
And he's
like
a
this?
cop. You think he'd be checking on her all the time.
He's a cop. Yeah.
So, and I don't know if he's still working, but he seems to because he always gets every call. We'll get on that too. But, so she goes out to the parking lot. They kind of like say bye. And still Will Patton's like not asking her out. But she walks on. She's so happy in the parking lot. And then, out of nowhere, a woman starts saying to her, you happy, huh? And then she's like, huh? What? And it's this woman. And she's like, so I see you're smiling and you're happy. I wish I could be happy. My sister, that crazy lunatic that you had to mess with, set him on the whole town. And now my sister is in this, she can't speak and she can't get out of a wheelchair. And we cut to her sister, who she has propped up, ready to go, in a wheelchair, to taunt her, is the woman from the last movie that got stabbed in the throat with a fluorescent light bulb.
Yeah, she's the one that had the drone with her husband, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
There is no way that
She's
this woman's alive.
Okay, she's alive, first of all. She was bleeding out. She got stabbed in the freaking jugular.
With a pipe.
And left there to die.
Twisted it.
Yeah.
She's dead. There is no way. And this woman's like, you're the one that made Michael Myers exist. You're the one that did this. And now I'm like, wait a minute. Everybody in the last movie was saying that Laurie was like the hero. She's the badass. She almost killed Michael. In fact, if anybody's to blame, it's the firefighters that accidentally saved him.
Right, exactly.
That he killed all of them. It's Laurie actually was the only one that came close enough to killing this guy. And she's blaming her?
Yeah, so
she
that
says
just
that you taunted him?
That goes along with how Laurie's like kind of an outcast in the town. But she seems to be living a relatively happy life. That's so weird. And, this lady who could possibly never, ever be alive, ever, after what happened to her, the filmmakers just decided to bring her back for what reasoning?
To taunt Laurie
it's so stupid. There's no reason for her to be in this movie at all. And I was watching this scene, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, why do we need this? Like, if anything, if you're gonna bring back anybody, Annie's father, the sheriff, or something, somebody.
How could he be alive?
Well, he's still alive.
That's crazy.
Sheriff Brackett. Why don't you bring back Sheriff Brackett? But like,
how about this? You just have the faces of the dead, like your daughter. Or anything that she's seeing, the trauma that she's been through, like the loss that she has suffered her whole life.
Yeah.
Everybody's Tommy is dead. Everybody's dead.
Yeah.
Right?
Everyone's dead.
You think that she would just see faces or something. But no, they brought a character back to taunt her and tell her that she was a bastard. Now, if it was Laurie telling herself that she was the problem, I would get this.
Right.
But to have another character tell her that when everybody must know there's no fucking way it's her. She's the only one that was warning everybody he's coming back one day. She was telling everybody.
But people thought she was crazy then, and they didn't believe her.
And no one believed her, and now they're calling her the lunatic? You think that she would be the boss of the town.
Right,
you know what I mean?
It's just it seems like she's an outcast, and she's the one that told everybody about it, and they didn't believe her. And And they just decided to bring this lady back from the last one who has no relevance to the situation whatsoever. She was just another body in the long list of bodies. They bring her back? Like, it was just so weird. Bring back Lil Jon.
Yeah.
But like honestly, it was so stupid of a thing to do.
Yeah, so Lori's depressed. And that ends that. She gets in her car and she's sad again, and she's like a mess because of this. We cut to Corey waking up in a tunnel in the sewer system. He just wakes up. Now, so someone dragged him in here and then just left him.
Yeah.
Okay?
What the hell?
Now, this is really funny. He wakes up and he's like, where the hell am I? What's happening? And he hears something. So he looks at a hole in the wall. Michael Myers is standing behind a hole in the wall for no reason. He dragged him in here, waited, let him recover from his wounds of falling off a bridge.
Yep.
He's okay, by the way.
Yep.
And fine. And Michael just waited for him to wake up.
Yeah.
Why?
It was so nice.
No idea. So he sees Michael and he's like, what the fuck is that? And Michael reaches out and grabs his head. Now, for some reason, I guess Michael waited for this moment to kill him. He grabs his head, and this is where the movie gets batshit fucking crazy.
Yeah, now mind you, we are now, what, almost an hour in at this point?
If at least 55 minutes.
We actually see Michael. We see him. And before he was like just lurking in the shadows, you get to see like a silhouette of him.
Not even that, just like kind of seeing somebody seeing.
Yeah, and then now you see Michael, and we're at least an hour in at this point.
Maybe, yeah. So he grabs Corey's head, and then, well, like I said, this is where it gets crazy. He sees Corey's trauma.
Yeah, maybe he feels it, like, you know.
He's an empath.
He like touches him and he feels it, you know.
Michael Myers is an empath.
Corey has been through some shit.
Everybody he's ever killed in the last movie, none of them have ever also been through some trauma.
No.
None of them. They're all like, you know what? He touched them and went, I deem this person killable.
Yeah, or maybe he like touched Corey and was like, oh, you know, he's got some demons. Maybe I can corrupt him.
He killed a child. I killed a child. We have a lot in common.
Yeah.
He hates the world. I hate the world. Let's be buddies.
Yep.
So with this, Corey's like, what the fuck? And he gets out of there. And Michael lets him go. Now, Michael's also wheezing, and rightfully so. Not only is he, I think,
70?
a 75-year-old man,
Yeah.
he also has been shot, stabbed, cut in half, beat down to death, and set on fire. He's got missing fingers. In the end of the last one, they shot him and beat him to death with a bat.
Yep.
And he got up. And he was also stabbed in the back with a pitchfork.
Yeah, and we know now, I mean, obviously through all of this, that Michael Myers is not a man anymore. He's just like a supernatural entity.
Oh, is he? Because he's a man again.
Oh, wow.
When it comes needed for it. So he runs out of there. Corey runs out of the hole and gets to the very end of the hole and looks back in, because that's what you do after seeing Michael Myers.
Yeah, you see Michael Myers, you don't run like hell.
Yeah. And this is where the bum, the homeless man, jumps on him, and he's a fucking lunatic too, because everybody's a cartoon character. He jumps on him and says, why did he let you live? He brings other people in there and they never come back out. He never lets anybody go. What is it about you? And he goes, I'm Michael Myers. And then he pulls out a switchblade and he goes to kill Corey. And then Corey, of course, gets close with that, you know, that terrible movie thing where everybody hugs and you know someone's been stabbed.
Yep.
And it's the homeless guy got stabbed,
of course,
with his own blade, and then Corey takes the blade from him and goes to town stabbing him. He stabs him multiple times. He throws the blade away, and he's like, "What did I do?" And he continues to walk home. Yeah. Now he's fallen from a bridge. He's been beat up in the past. He has that scar from his hand.
He has come face to face with Michael Myers.
Yeah, Michael Myers grabbed him and did something to him. We don't even know what this is, right? So I think what the movie's trying to say is that when he grabbed him, he got a little evil in him.
Yeah, he like transferred over some of
evil.
his
some Michael.
Some Michael. He got a little Michael on you.
Yeah, you got a little Michael on you. So Jesus Christ. He hobbles home. He hobbles home, gets home. His mother's like, where the fuck have you been? What is going on?
Yeah, his mother is the most disgusting thing. I can't take her. She's just awful.
He locks himself in the bathroom. He takes off his shirt. He's got bruises all over him. He stares. She's banging on the door. Let me in the bathroom. I want to see you, in the bathroom. I don't know what the hell's going on. She's screaming on the other side. And he just stares at himself in the mirror. Jeez, I don't even know where to start with the rest of this now because
I mean, we're telling you guys all this play by play because literally you have to realize that none of what's happening is relevant to this story, at all.
I would say it kind of is for what they're trying to talk about, but it's the fact that this is a Halloween film and this is what this movie's doing for the entire runtime, right? So
it's just filler. It's like nonsense. It's like nonsensical filler.
So when Corey, and I had this on, when Corey stares in the mirror at himself, he also stares at his hand.
Yeah.
And he's like, now it seems to be saying that his hand feels better after killing that guy.
That's what I thought.
And he also doesn't seem to need glasses anymore.
Yeah,
For the rest of the movie, he never needs glasses again.
Nope.
So it seems almost like the film is suggesting another thing.
Like something supernatural has happened.
Like something is happening, and it's tying back to the idea that Michael gets stronger every kill.
Yep.
Which is crazy in itself, right?
I can't stand that theory. It makes me like...
Yeah, it's terrible.
Stabby.
But
see what I did there?
Stabby.
I said stabby.
But what the movie seems to suggest this, but it doesn't go any further, and it doesn't even try to explain itself. So that's what you get. And there's also a shot of his ring, I think, at one point. And they make sure you see this ring. It does not come into play either.
So much about Corey that makes no sense at all. Like, they show us things about Corey that we don't give a shit about. We don't care about the chocolate milk. We don't care about, like, I mean, honestly, what is this ring he's wearing that they make a point to show? Like, there's just stupid shit that we just don't, I mean, we don't care about.
Yeah,
It's mind-boggling.
Yeah, so we get like some scenes like Allison hates her job. Her boss has now promoted the other girl who is obviously probably screwing him.
Yeah.
And she got the promotion over her. She's sick of it. You know, she goes home. We see Lori sitting back thinking about her book, and she just all of a sudden gets a weird feeling. Mm-hmm. And because Lori has another superpower also, she can sense evil.
Yeah.
Right? So she goes, something's up, right? So she looks out the window, and Corey is standing exactly like Michael was when she looked down the block, right on the end of the bushes.
Yeah, like
He's
right on the
standing there.
end, like just lurking there like a creep.
Oh my God. So she goes out to see him, and he's not there.
Oh.
He's disappeared like the boogeyman. But just like the boogeyman, he teleports right behind her, and she didn't see him the whole time.
Yeah.
And he goes, hey. And she's like, oh. And he's like, I'm here for Allison. Right? He's like totally normal.
He's just doing like, creepy things, just lurking around.
It seems like it's only Lori thinking that something's creepy. There's no reason really. He doesn't seem that creepy. And he looks at her and he goes, those guys came back. The bullies, they jumped me last night. And I was hoping to see Allison. And Lori's looking at him like she's smelling a fart. She knows something's wrong. You know something's wrong, but you don't really understand what Lori is getting out of this, right? So Allison comes out, and he's like, I just wanted to say sorry I ran away last night. I need to talk to you. Will you go on a walk with me? Allison goes, sure. And she like walks past him, and he follows her. And Lori stands in there, and she's like, something's wrong. Something's wrong here. Right? So then we cut to Allison and Corey are walking, and Corey reaches out his hand and says, I killed somebody.
It was so crazy.
Right? And then she takes his hand. She takes his hand. And then they cut to, they're in the house where he killed the child by accident. This house is abandoned.
Yeah,
Now,
the parents obviously have moved out of this house.
I guess it's a beautiful, huge house that was never put on the market for some reason.
Yeah.
Nobody ever bought this house. It's abandoned, and they can sneak in, and they even have the piano there still.
Yep.
It is wild. And guess what? The blood stain is still on the floor of the child. And he brings her there and starts telling her about how he accidentally killed that child, and he feels responsible for it. Mm-hmm. Now, he kills the homeless person. You think that that's what he's going to tell her? And the fact that he says to her, hey, I killed somebody, take my hand, and she takes it, is like, wow.
Yeah, like,
Wow.
Okay, well, not, there
Warning
wasn't
signs.
a single fucking question, okay? She didn't even say, who did you kill? Like, what happened? Tell me everything.
Yeah.
Like, she didn't
She
even
just takes
seem
his hand.
curious. She just took his hand. Like, I just fell in love.
Exactly.
Like, what is wrong with this bitch?
So yeah, he tells her all these things, these crazy things, and he's like, I like you. You make me feel better. You know, you and me against the world and all this stuff. And I think whatever. And she's like, I'm in for it. This
Like, what the
relationship.
fuck?
And then he says to her, hey, I was just wondering, did Michael spare you, or did you really get away? Now, this is how you break this romantic moment between the two people. He asks about her trauma. And you know what? She's cool with that too. She says, I don't know. I think I got away.
I mean, I'm beyond baffled at this movie. Like, first of all, these two characters are the most ridiculous, infuriating two people. I mean, after this girl goes through all this shit, she's gonna take the hand of an admitted killer.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, are you out of your fucking mind? What is wrong with you, man?
Yeah.
Like, do you have any idea who this guy even is? At what point did they even, like, you know, they have that moment of cuteness where they actually fell for each other? No, we don't have that. There was no discussions between
It's
the
an
two of them.
instant romance.
It was literally just an instant throw together romance.
Yeah.
And we have no reason to have these people together. None.
And I would say at this point, I thought to myself, holy shit, is this movie going to do what I think it's going to do? And I thought, I don't know about you, but I thought they're going to make these two, Mickey and Mallory, they're going to be the new Michael Myers. And I thought maybe he's going to get the powers of Michael and become the new Michael. And I thought Allison might be a killer too. Because
I was
they're
hoping
setting
not.
it. Well,
I didn't want
I just
that.
kept saying that is some bold shit. That is a daring thing to not have Michael in this, to make it a new Michael Myers, and it's Corey. And wow, I'll give you some balls and I'll give you some props if that's what you're setting up here, right? That's what I thought. So now we cut to Lori. And she's got to talk to somebody about this since she only has one friend, and that's the bartender. Because you know what a recovering alcoholic should do? Go to a bar and hang out with her friend that owns the bar. So she says to the bartender, now it's just during the day. There's no one in this bar. She says to the bartender, I saw his eyes, and it was Michael's eyes.
Yeah.
Devil's
Okay,
eyes, the
okay.
boogeyman.
Like, she's become like some kind of like clairvoyant, like super sensitive, like what do you call like when you're sensitive to like paranormal stuff? Like, I guess
I said empath before,
empath.
but like
what? Like, she can sense the evil coming out of his eyeballs.
I
What
knew.
the fuck?
Now she only has dealt with Michael 2 different other times.
Yep.
So yeah, Lori's like telling her, it's the devil. I saw it in him. He's evil. Something's wrong. He's Michael.
Yeah.
Right? And Lori, what's that girl's name?
Lindsay.
Lindsay goes, I got somebody you got to talk to. And it just so turns out there's only one other person in the bar, and he's playing pool by himself, and it happens to be the father of the child that Corey accidentally killed.
Yep.
And now I have a conversation where this guy says, you know, I wanted to forgive him. I wanted to see him and talk to him and say, maybe I could forgive you and all that and move on. And it just so happened I saw him hobbling down the street bloody after he had killed the homeless man, and he was walking home bloody, limping, messed up and bruised. Nobody stopped for him.
Nope.
But this guy, he says, I pulled over and I wanted to talk to him. And he leaned in and looked at me, and I saw the devil's eyes.
Yeah.
And I drove off and left him.
It's just so like,
That
what
kid-
the fuck?
Yeah, he goes, that kid was gone.
Like, what the fuck? What is happening? Like, you see the devil in this kid? Like,
Everybody can.
what? And everyone in
Except
this,
Allison.
except Allison, she loves him.
So bad.
I have no idea. I have no idea what's going on in this movie at all.
So yeah, so now it's confirmed. Yeah, I have another person. He's the devil. Were you going to do anything with this information? No.
No.
So, except she does. It turns out Lori finds Corey sleeping in the old blood stain of the child in that abandoned
Yeah,
house.
you know, because that's what people do. You know, when you know they get really like upset and lonely and sad, they go to the abandoned house where a child fell to his death and died.
Yeah.
And lay down in the very spot where he died.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
she finds him. And this is really comical because Jamie Lee Curtis, it almost seems like she's in a spoof of a Halloween movie because she's laying back on a chair against a wall with her legs spread, with her hands, and she's supposed to look cool, But it is so awkward looking.
It's very awkward
and
looking.
she's like, I know you what you are, boy, and you're the devil and all this stuff, and I know it. And he's like, that's well, that's what you see. It doesn't matter. Me and Allison are gonna be together forever, and nobody can have her but me.
Yeah,
And
if
then
I can't have her, nobody
will.
can.
Yeah, which is
What
insane
the
speech.
fuck?
And then she looks up, and Lori has vanished like a ninja.
Yeah.
Just left.
It's
After
so
hearing that.
weird.
Yeah.
Like none of this has any relevance whatsoever. And again, we are now another 20 minutes into this movie after like so an hour and 20 minutes into this movie, and we still have like no Michael. This is just bullshit
Insane.
surrounding this fucking stupid kid who I didn't like from the beginning anyway. He was okay, but then after the 10-minute mark, I just started disliking him. Everything about him. I mean, there's no reason that this girl, Allison, would ever just be completely, instantly infatuated with this kid. He is creepy and off-putting and just strange.
Yeah.
He's awkward. And so we still have no idea, he doesn't have one friend in this small town, and everyone hates him.
Yeah.
But this girl, Allison, oh yeah, she's trusting. And
She doesn't have anybody either.
I mean, it's just insane.
So Allison hates her life. She hates the town. He hates the town. They go to a bar, right? They actually go to a diner. At the diner, this is another terribly edited scene. He's like looking at things wrong. It doesn't really edit well. And they're having a conversation about how they hate everything and they share everything. And it turns out that the cop that likes Allison is also there, of course.
Yeah, he's the
everybody's
one that pulled
always
her
there.
over.
Yeah. He comes over and says, hey, we're having a birthday party. I want you to come over and be with my friends and have cake. And she goes, I'm not alone. I'm with somebody. And he goes, yeah, you can come too, kid. Anyways, come over here and eat some cake with us. She's like, again, no, I'm with somebody.
Like, he was so invasive.
So he's like, why are you freaking out? And then Corey says, she's with somebody. Do you understand? And then he's like, whoa, what's her mouth with you, asshole?
Yeah, it was like people
what do
are
you
just
wanna fight?
provoking the shit out of this kid for no reason.
Oh, he's like, oh, you're that psychopath. Oh, he's like, you're sleeping with the psychopath now? That's what you like? That's why you're not calling me?
I mean, so bizarre. Like, yeah, he's like, well, you haven't called me because you're with him.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm not calling you because you're a nut job. Everyone in this fucking town is a nut job.
Oh, everybody's crazy.
Like,
and
what
everybody's
is going on?
hilarious.
And-
Everybody has terrible dialogue, too.
Terrible dialogue.
And so they cut to a scene where the two of them are just miserable and they're like sitting at a bar or something. And then Allison's like, I want to watch this town burn. And he says, right to her ear, I'm going to light the match. Right? So they get on their motorcycle. He drives her home. They're making out. She goes into the house. But we see that he's being followed by a car. Somehow Corey knows this is happening because he leads that car to the underpass with the hole where Michael is. And he's right. Because the cop is in the car, and he gets out, and he finds the homeless man dead in a tent, and then Corey just wraps a jacket around his head. And it doesn't do anything to the cop, because the cop just punches him in the face. It's wildly comical, but Corey starts laughing. This is really funny to him, too. So Corey runs into the hole, and the cop follows him, because what you do when someone tries to kill you and you just found a dead body is you walk into a fucking tunnel.
Yeah.
Right? So he goes in the tunnel, and Michael comes out wheezing. And Corey's like, show me how you do it. Show me how you do it. Get him. And Michael's like, I can hardly move. He doesn't say anything, but he's like,
I know. It sounds like he needs an oxygen tank.
and he's like, get him. So Corey holds the cop down. And they're on the floor. And the cop's like, what the fuck is happening? Now, Michael just finds like a shovel in the wall, like one of those things that you spread like pavement, like you spread cement down with.
Yeah.
He pulls it out and just starts stabbing the shit out of the cop. But when he does, he gets electrified and Michael is reborn. We just see him going like, and he's like getting powers.
It's like it just goes along with what we said about the last one. Is every time he kills, he gets more power.
But we never saw him body dry heave like go nuts like bacon being popped.
He was like pop and locking like Turbo and Ozone and breaking.
It's so bad. And now he's like, oh, I'm regenerated. And he stops wheezing.
Oh my god,
Right?
he gets his second wind.
He gets his
hasn't
second
killed
wind.
anyone in a bit. It's been a hot minute.
But that's not true because the homeless man tells us he's been dragging other people in there.
No, and nobody in the town's talking about missing people.
They're homeless people. I guess that's what they're saying.
Okay.
Right? So that's crazy.
And so the homeless guy is still just hanging around that area after
That guy said, I'm Michael Myers, and he had a switchblade, and he was trying to kill Corey. This is Lunaticville. Everybody's a lunatic, right? So Corey is now a serial killer.
What's going on in this movie?
All right. So
Yeah, so Corey's he's a killer.
so cut to
On purpose.
one
this
of
time.
the craziest scenes. This is a breakdown, right? Because now Allison said, I want to watch this town burn, and he says, I'm going to light the match. This sounds like they're about to kill people together.
Yes, it does.
And he just asked Michael, show me how you do it. Like, I want to know how to get the powers. I want to be like you, right? So do you think that's what that means, right?
Yes.
So cut to the nurse and the doctor coming home to his house, his beautiful house, and he's being a douchebag, and she's like, they're obviously screwing, and she's like, I'm going to go in the bathroom. He's like, yeah, take a bath. Like, she needs a bath, right?
Yeah, like go cleanse yourself.
Yeah, and
you
he's playing music, and he's
stinker.
getting, like, champagne. She goes in the bedroom, she finds a box, and the box says, happy promotion. And there's, like, a silk robe.
Like a silk robe.
And she goes, ooh, somebody call me a doctor.
It's just so bad. The
Terrible,
dialogue is so
right?
bad.
And then all of a sudden she hears the record, like the music stop and a struggle, and she goes through the sliding glass door to the pool area, and she sees a person in the scarecrow mask, Corey, stabbing the shit out of the doctor.
Yep.
Now, we saw that he's left the mask. How he has his scarecrow mask back is bizarre.
Yeah, he left it at the bar.
He left it at the bar. They even showed a shot of it. He's stabbing the shit out of the doctor. He's killing him. And she's like, oh, fuck. So she runs back in the sliding glass door, and he chases her, and he gets there. He puts his hand in. She slams it on that hand that hurts. And he's like, ah, shit. You know, like, and he's like hurting. He just starts, she locks it, and she starts backing away. And as she's backing away, he's like punching it. Not trying to break the glass, but just lightly tapping on the glass.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you think that he would be trying to shatter it to get to her? But he stops suddenly because behind the nurse, Michael Myers has been hiding in the bathroom. Okay, now we have to break this down because
How long has he been in there?
what I thought was about to happen was that Allison was going to be behind her, and that Allison had now become a killer, and they were killers together, right? Because that's what they seem like they set up. Because also, why would Corey want to kill the doctor and the nurse?
Yeah, it makes no sense.
The only reason is because she says, "I hate my job. I
Yeah,
got
but
to kill them."
They were planning on skipping town and leaving together anyway.
And I guess the only line of dialogue to make Corey seem like he's going to kill them is that she says, I have a job. And he's like, well, fuck it. I got to get rid of that job, I guess. But this is baffling. But what's even more baffling, what we have to really dissect is Michael followed him. He only drives a motorcycle. Did Michael get on the motorcycle and go to the house? How did they even find the doctor? How do they know where he lives?
That's true.
And Michael, how did he get in the house to kill him? Were they there already? Did Michael and Corey have a conversation like, hey, Michael, I got some people I got to go kill. You want to come with? This is fucking crazy, right? And so Michael, now remember, Michael is a 70-something-year-old man who's been through so much body trauma, but he is now regenerated because he killed one person.
Yeah,
he
he's
is
okay.
able to pick up the nurse by the throat up in the air and stab her through the wall and hang her there and stare at her.
It was a Bob moment.
And
remember?
do the Bob moment all over
Yeah.
again. And like, Corey's like, yeah, we did it. Right? Now, cut to, this is I laughed so fucking hard because.
Can I just chime in real quick? 1 second. We went from feeling bad for this kid
Yes.
to
He's a serial killer.
instantaneously despising him. He is a serial killer.
I didn't even despise him. I just go, holy shit, he just became a cartoon character like everybody else.
Yeah, but he's a bad person. So we went
now
from
he
feeling
is.
bad for him in the beginning of the movie to like instantly like, holy shit, he just committed out and out murder.
Yeah, now he's a straight up serial killer, right? And they cut to Corey on the motorcycle with the sun coming up, riding the motorcycle, and the shot is on his face. And you know someone's behind him because you could see someone's behind him. Mm-hmm. All I could think was, holy shit, please, Michael, be cuddling behind him on the motorcycle. This would be the best moment. But for some reason, Allison's with him.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Now, this is what makes me think there was another movie filmed here where Allison killed people. Because why would she be with him after he had just killed 2 people?
None of it makes any sense.
With Michael Myers. And how did Michael and him split up again? Michael went back to the sewer system? And why wouldn't Michael just go on a killing spree again? Michael goes back to the sewer system and waits for Corey.
Yeah.
Like a dog. Like a dog. And for some reason, he's with Allison. They go to the radio tower. For no reason, go and climb up to the top of the radio tower to hang out.
Yeah.
And Corey's like, regenerates now because he's killed people. He's like Michael, I guess. At least he thinks he is. So he's like, I'm unstoppable, and we're gonna live together. We're gonna be together forever, you and me, Allison. She's like, ha ha ha, you're so cute, you know. And he jumps off. He keeps jumping off the tower, and she's like, holy shit, what do you think, you're unstoppable?
Yeah,
And
he's
he goes,
like playing around, like, you know, he's gonna like jump, and he teases her, and then, you know, he jumps over the side, and she looks over, like, and he's like right there. Like, you know, it wasn't a big jump.
Yeah, it was like, but
And
then
he's,
he
like,
does fall,
fucking
and he's
with her.
like, ooh. When he lands, he's like, ouch. Like,
It's
it really
just-
did hurt. So he's not like Michael.
It's like the stupidest filler of all time.
Yeah.
Like,
So the DJ comes out.
yeah, the DJ comes out, starts being like, hey, what are you kids doing? You know, like, get off my lawn type deal.
But he's even worse than that. Now get the fuck out of here, you pieces of crap. Right? I mean, he's so overboard bad to them. And they're like...
Everyone is.
Corey looks at her and goes, we got to leave this town. And she says, yeah, I think I'm ready. Mm-hmm. Right?
Everyone is bad. Everyone in this town is bad.
He just started killing people. And now he's like, we got to get out of here.
Yeah, but she doesn't know.
No, but my point is, he seems like he wants to kill this entire town, but now he also wants to get out of here. So it's kind of like conflicting it with itself. I don't even understand that, right? So they go away. They go have sex. They go to Laurie's house, and they go have sex. And Laurie's like, this kid's bad news. And I don't think you should be together. Like, he leaves, and basically Allison and Laurie have like a little spat. And she's like, you're the reason everybody's dead. To the Laurie and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, now mind you, she was never thinking in these terms or talking to Laurie like that in the beginning of the movie. She was happy. They were, you know, pretty happy living together. And now all of a sudden she doesn't like Laurie. She doesn't like her own grandmother anymore.
Yeah,
like,
Allison is full bad now.
Yeah,
she's
Allison
like
is,
really
like,
mean to people.
a switch was just flipped. Like, I mean, something just happened to her out of the blue. And it's like all of a sudden when she started hanging out with Corey, she became like an asshole.
Yeah.
And so now she's like talking, you know, bad shit to her grandmother and, you know, saying, you know, I'll be better off without you. I'm running away with him, blah, blah, blah. Like, what is happening to this character? They completely done this character wrong.
Yeah.
They could have taken her from the last movie, Halloween Kills, and put something good on her. Like, make her, you know, better. Because she didn't really have much to do in the last one.
Yeah.
But they didn't care.
Yeah.
They just didn't care.
And so this is where it basically gets to the end game now. Because it's Halloween.
Of course
we
it
know
is.
this because it tells us, but it also only shows maybe one group of trick-or-treaters throughout the whole
That's
thing.
it. Yeah.
For some reason, Corey now is gone completely crazy, and his mother had slapped him in the face and kissed him.
Yeah.
It's really strange.
On the lips.
He goes to the tunnel to see Michael, and they have a wrestling match. They wrestle, and he takes Michael's mask
Yeah.
and just leaves him.
Okay,
they just
so
wrestle around. They
that-
wrestle for no reason.
No
He takes
no
his
rhyme or
mask,
reason to it.
Now he's like, I'm going to be you. So he puts on the mask, and he goes on a killing spree. Now, it starts off, the killing spree, with the DJ. He goes and
Yes.
kills Darcy the Mail Girl from Joe Bob
Yeah,
Briggs
she
Drive-In.
makes a cameo. It was funny.
Yeah, he kills her, and he kills the DJ in the best moment in the entire movie to me. He cuts his jaw off, and his tongue comes out, and then he cuts his tongue off, which falls on the record player and bounces around on the record.
It's very comical.
It's comical, but it also looked great. It looked it just looked amazing, like as a one of these kills, because the rest of the movie is pretty tame.
Yeah,
on the
we
kills.
needed a kill like that. We
Yeah.
needed a kill like that. Because, I mean, the whole movie, no, there's no Michael Myers in this whole movie.
Yeah, especially the way that the last one was filmed, which it was brutal and the kills were strong and like really gory and scary and everything was gritty.
Yeah.
And this one feels really cheap and just rushed and everything just feels different. It feels strange.
It's
here.
completely cheap and rushed.
So
completely.
now Corey is Michael Myers, right? So now he goes and he gets the kids, the 4 bullies. He gets them to follow him to the junkyard, and he one by one murders them. And one of the kids accidentally shoots the stepfather in the head. He kills them, and it's just kind of like off camera. One of them has a drumstick in his face. One girl gets run over through a gate and is somehow still alive.
Yeah.
And he kills all them, and then he goes home and he kills his mother.
Just goes on a killing spree. I mean, it's just so odd and strange of a thing to happen with this character.
Yeah. At the same time, Allison and Laurie had that fight. Allison walked out and is ready to run away with Corey. Laurie is now super depressed, so she starts drinking heavily. She goes up to her room. She gets a gun loaded. She calls 911 and says, "There's a suicide at this place. Come to my house.
Come to my house. It's a suicide."
There's a suicide. That means she's going to kill herself, right? Which is really strange. All of a sudden, you see a gunshot and stuff fly on the wall like brains. Michael Myers Corey comes in the door, shocked. But really, Laurie's hiding behind the door. She shot a pumpkin. Now, I'm just going to talk about this because the pumpkin was carved. Mm-hmm. There are no guts in a pumpkin like that.
Right.
I don't know. I just want to see a scene of Laurie shooting a pumpkin. It just makes my fucking day. She says, "You think I would have killed myself, you piece of shit?" And she shoots Corey twice in the shoulder. He falls down the stairs at the bottom of the stairs. She comes down. She dumps all the bullets out. And she says, "Now Allison's going to see you for what you really are, you piece of shit that I knew you were." And he says, "If I can't have Allison, nobody can." And he stabs himself in the throat with a butcher knife.
It was so crazy.
Laurie's first reaction is, grab the butcher knife out. And exactly that time, Allison comes in the door.
Yeah, so it's like the horror movie cliche bullshit.
Yeah.
So it looks like Laurie
killed him.
Killed him.
Allison goes, "You piece of shit, I knew it." And she runs out again.
Again.
She leaves him. She doesn't even check on Corey.
No.
Now this is great because Laurie is wearing the exact same outfit from the '78 movie, which looks really funny. This is all nostalgia now.
She's wearing that like blue button-down top that she wears.
It just looks so funny on her now. And also, she sits down on the floor and leaves Michael in the background, just like it. It's shot for. It's like trying to recapture all these shots. It's nostalgia. It's playing with the member berries. It's just overdoing it. But guess what? The real Michael Myers shows up for his mask.
Yeah, he just wants his mask
Because
back.
he has a tracking device on Corey and knows exactly where he is at all times.
Yeah, how did he
Apparently,
know?
He's been walking around town looking for Corey.
Oh, when he was having dinner with Corey, they just had a nice long talk of where they were gonna.
I want to see that movie so bad. He gets the mask, puts it on. Laurie runs in the back, and she knows that Michael is now here for her. It's really happening. Yep. So she hides, and he goes in the kitchen to find her, and they have a battle.
Yep.
And he smashes Laurie's face into a glass cabinet. She's fine.
No, she got a little cut, you know,
she's
but
fine.
she's fine, you know, for an older lady taking a beating like that, you know?
She stabs 2 knives into him into the middle of a kitchen table and crucifies him onto the table. It's a giant table, by the way.
It's like one of those kitchen islands.
And then she takes the lightest refrigerator in the world that you've ever seen in your life, the lightest one, and she's able to push it onto him.
Dumps the refrigerator onto him.
I would love to see you try to tip over our refrigerator right now.
Yeah, I can't.
She tips it onto him, pinning him down.
Ridiculous.
And she's like, "Now you're going to die, Michael." And she takes a butcher knife and she slashes his throat.
And then she slashes
No. He rips his hand out. He's still alive.
Oh,
from
that's
all
right.
of
Yeah,
that.
he's still alive
and he
from all
grabs her to kill her, and she says, "Kill me, get it over with." But right at that time, because Allison saw the DJ radio tower is on fire, and she gets a call. We don't know why that tower's on fire. We don't get. That's obviously another deleted scene from this movie that didn't get explained.
It's another deleted scene okay, the tower's on fire. Why?
Yeah,
like you didn't even
nothing's
bother to
explained.
tell us
Yeah.
like what happens there.
No
Did
one
we
noticed.
miss something
There's
when
so
he was
much.
killing Darcy the mail girl?
There's so
Did he
much that
set
doesn't
it on
get
fire?
explained.
It's like
Yeah.
it's like the scene in the Goonies where Data says the octopus was really scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, they cut that scene out and they just kept that other scene in. That
Let's-
makes no sense at all.
Let's also point out that she had called the cops that she was going to commit suicide a while ago.
Yeah, it's been like an hour.
Allison gets back
Taking her sweet ass time.
because she also gets a call from Will Patton because for some reason Will Patton calls her before he gets to the house. And he says, she called about a suicide. She goes, huh. He was going to light a... Basically, I think that what she's supposed to be thinking here is, oh, Corey said he was going to light the match. The tower's on fire. Oh my God.
Okay.
Maybe Corey was the bad guy. She goes home. She doesn't say any of this. This is just me thinking this is what they're trying
You're
to say.
right. That's right. They did say they were going to light the match. So
Yeah.
maybe he set it on fire. But at what point? When they
Never.
were sitting on top of it?
It's deleted. So she comes home and finds Lori getting choked and says no. And she takes Michael's hand away from her neck and gives Lori the knife, and she slits Michael's wrist, and Michael dies. And the cops show up right at that moment. And now this is hilarious. They take Michael's body and they tell the cops, we got to do this. And they put it on like Aunt Edna in Vacation. They tie him to the roof, and the cops go,
Time to the roof of the car.
yeah, this is not what we do. And then the one cop shows up, the cowboy cop shows up from the last movie and goes, it's what we do now.
Yeah,
and so
they've
now-
had enough.
They parade Michael through. Now remember, this is a Halloween night. No trick-or-treaters. Nobody's on the road.
No.
And everybody in the town knows that this is happening. And
Yep.
they all show up to do a funeral march as they drive to the junkyard with Michael's body.
Like-
Now remember,
Hundreds of people.
there should be about 5 bodies laying all over the junkyard. In fact, one of them was at the gate where they drive in.
Yeah.
She should be smashed right there, and there should be 2 other bodies right there.
Yeah.
None of those bodies are
nobody
there.
sees
They
anything.
drive perfectly in.
Yep.
Nobody has ever looked for the doctor, the nurse, the woman, the mother. These kids, nobody's looking for anybody, and it's Halloween night. And everybody is in town, follows them into the junkyard. There's cop cars, a parade
Like it's
walks
a
in.
parade of people.
Nobody is in costume on Halloween night. And the best part is the woman in the wheelchair is being wheeled into the junkyard. And also the kid survivor from the 2018 movie is also there. And they show both of them like they were supposed to care.
Yeah, like we're supposed to care. Like there's any reasoning.
Then they take Michael off the top of the car and like a mosh pit, they carry him on top like stage diving.
Like float him
to
over.
the compactor. Lori gets in the compactor and throws Michael into the compactor, and we see him get ground up like beef, and he splashes up in the air. Right?
Yep.
He's dead.
There you
Michael
go.
is dead.
So there is no ending that we were hoping for.
Yeah.
Or
And cut to the future. Allison leaves town. Will Patton shows up at Laurie's house. Everybody's fine. The boogeyman's dead. She finishes her book, and she chooses cherry blossoms. Finn. The movie's over.
Movie's over. So thank you, filmmakers, dickheads, for that, because literally it would have been a much better movie if you would have just let them both go down together and end it the way it should have been ended. But instead, you throw us this bullshit story with a stupid ass kid that nobody's seen before, no one cares about.
Yeah.
Nobody gives a fuck about this kid, and he's suddenly the star of this movie. Jamie Lee takes a back seat in her own fucking movie.
Yeah.
And Michael Myers, it's like that fucking scene in Jurassic Park where Malcolm says, there will be dinosaurs in your dinosaur park. That's the way I felt about this. There will be Michael Myers in your movie about Michael Myers, right?
Yeah.
This infuriates the fuck out of me. Like, why would you throw this poorly written crap together and call it Halloween Ends? We have struggled through all of this, okay? And in the last movie, you're gonna throw in this stupid plot with this kid and this girl, Allison, being together like 2 psychos, okay? Like, Allison's just done lost her mind, okay? What the fuck? This isn't even the character that we met in the first movie. Whatever. It doesn't matter. But why? Why do the filmmakers think that we care about this kid? Why are you throwing a new character in at the end?
Well,
fuck you.
my my point of view is that somewhere down the line they said, how do we continue this, right? Because they're like, what do we do next? Make a new Michael. It's interesting. It's bold. Other movie properties have tried it. Jason tried it. I think Freddy kind of tried it at one point. They were gonna like do it with the second one. They had the other kid becoming Freddy and all that, and through his body. They were like, there's people trying to do things like this, and nobody's had the balls to actually do it. And on Jason in part 5, it was supposed to go on to that kid who survived. It was what's his face growing up. They didn't. Nobody liked it, right? So they didn't do it, and they went back to Jason. It's ballsy, and it's interesting to show this kid go through trauma and say, this is how monsters get created. That's an interesting conversation. It would have been an interesting movie, but somewhere down the line, no one had balls, and they realized we have to have Michael, right? Mm-hmm. So we have to do the Michael versus Laurie for some fucking reason again. So someone didn't have the balls to actually finish the idea that they had with Allison and Corey maybe becoming bad guys and becoming the new Michael. Might have been interesting. At least it would have been something that finalized and made this movie make sense. But somewhere down that line, they had to put Michael back in it, and it ruined any momentum that was set up. So the movie becomes so comical with that mix match.
Yeah, I agree
and that
with you.
whole weird thing. You can tell the Michael stuff was reshoots.
It just seemed, I agree with you. It seemed like they just, he took a back seat in his own movie. I don't understand. Like, what were you thinking? I would say
Lori did too.
Like, that's what I'm saying. She didn't even drive the car, okay? It was this fucking kid who we don't even give a shit about. And, like, you're wasting almost 2 hours of our time. We went through these other 2 movies, and the second one was a colossal piece of crap, okay? Yeah. I don't care. It was a piece of crap. Now you're going to do this bullshit to us? But, like, we deserve better than this. We deserve better than this ending.
I don't even think... I'm not even going to say we deserve better, because... this series should never have happened.
No,
it should have been 2018.
Right.
It should have ended when he was on fire, and it should have been over.
It should have, yes.
This is what happens with greed. Blumhouse and them made so much money on Halloween 2018 that they were like, we have to make more. And they said, okay. And now I don't know if you know this, but the guy who owns the rights to Michael Myers has a contract that Michael can't die. So in this...
well, okay, then.
They killed him. So now it reverts back to him. So they can continue to do Michael Myers movie. But in this timeline... he's dead. So it's over. So I think that them trying to make Corey as a villain was definitely some way around that contract. But they realized this shit ain't going to fly with anybody.
The thing about this movie that, I don't know if you feel the same way, but all I wanted was for Corey to die in this movie. I was waiting for that moment for Corey to die. Not Michael.
I don't even think I mentioned it, that Corey gets killed by Michael. He was still alive. I forgot to talk about that.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He was still alive. He stabbed himself in the throat.
Yeah, and he lived from it.
And he lived, and then,
Michael snaps his neck.
And Michael
But why didn't Michael snap his neck the other times?
Right. Why now?
Why now?
Why now? None of it makes any sense. It's like... I don't understand why he even let him go in the first place, the first time.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's some, demon and he's, pure evil, Michael doesn't let anyone go, period, okay?
He's supposed to be a killing machine. They set that up in the last one. He's a shark in their waters.
Yeah, he's a monster. And so, the fact that this kid even was a driving force in this movie, it's just mind-boggling, because not only did I not give a shit about him, but to actually throw Michael Myers and Laurie Strode in the background for somebody we've never even seen or met or even cared about is bonkers. And then to take an established character like Allison and turn her into that's like a slap in the face.
I agree.
If I was the actress, I would have been pissed. So I'm like, what are you doing to my character, man?
Well, here's the thing. Everybody, and I get it. We all love Jamie Lee Curtis, right? So we don't want to talk anything, and a lot of people are automatically going to kiss her ass and say she's amazing. If she read this dialogue, she would have to know something's wrong with this movie and maybe trying to fix it. But it is abysmal. Like, the dialogue is horrendous. Her narration is so
it's really bad.
bad.
It's really bad. And I am a Jamie Lee fan. But I agree with you that I feel like there has to be some part of her that is saying in the back of her mind, "Oh God,"
Yeah.
you know. I mean, there's going to be a ton of people that are probably feeling the same way we are. Like, why would you put Michael Myers and Laurie Strode in the background of the last film? Like,
Yeah.
what is fucking wrong with you?
But I will say this, and you said in this film, why would you put her in the background? She was in the background of the second film as well.
I get it, but at least
She's basically not even in her own series.
That's true. That's true. But you know what, though? At least she had more fucking screen time in that one. And this one, it just feels like it revolved around this kid, Corey. Like, why do we need this? Why are you trying to make a new story at the end of your situation?
Yeah.
This is the end. You're trying to put in a new story? No. The whole point of Halloween Ends is to continue the last two movies and just end it. And it should be front and center Michael and Laurie's struggle. There should be no fucking idiot side characters, no psycho stupid kid, nothing like that.
Yeah.
I mean, just throwing in all this filler with the bullies and all this bullshit, it enrages me.
Look, if you're gonna do the Corey thing, fine. I'm gonna go with you, and I'm gonna give it a chance. But do it. Don't back off. And they backed off from it. They obviously wimped out somewhere during the line of writing this. I haven't seen scripts. I don't know if anything exists out there, but I'm sure it does. There has to be alternate versions of this where Corey is Michael. And that's what this movie was going to be. There has to be things cut out because there was too many things set up. And it makes me think that they had a test screening or something, and the edit had to be re-edited and changed because the edits are terrible in this movie. You can see that things were set up, like cars almost hitting him, the chocolate milk, his ring. Everything seemed to be setting up something for him. And it didn't do any payoffs.
Never materialized. So it went nowhere.
That's how bad the editing is, that those things weren't removed from the film. So it's like you can tell that this is insane. Like you can tell how bad this is. Now if I would have if I had to fix this movie, if I would have had to say, what are you going to do about this movie? My thought is the way that you do this movie is you continue at the same night as the last movie, and you continue at the very end with the daughter being killed. With seeing, I would have got right into what he did to Anthony Michael Hall, Tommy, and show what happens to the daughter and how he gets away, and how maybe he goes to the hospital. Somehow gets to the hospital, he's hurt as well, and then have him basically redo the second movie where it's him fighting people in the hospital, everybody leaves the hospital because of the other accidents, and have the town actually fight him.
Yeah.
And have them actually beat him, and have Laurie fight him hurt, the whole thing, her protecting Will Patton, her protecting her granddaughter, anything.
Something would have been better than what they did. I mean, why would you wait 4 years?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Why jump forward? Why not continue right from that night? Because they're saying that he's powered up, but it would have been interesting to have him weak and deal with how it's really just them blowing it out of proportion. Like he's surviving, but he's hurt and he's wounded and he is dying.
Right.
Not that he's the boogeyman and gets stronger. Because that is never explained. There is no MacGuffin shown that shows you that he gets powers from this. There is no cult. There is no witches or anything giving him powers. It's not explained. It's just basically saying he's a mutant.
Yeah,
he's an
just
X-Men
having like a full body dry heave, and when he kills the
and
guy,
he also can grab people and see their trauma. It doesn't make, and he also can transfer himself. And I really think that in the original script and maybe the original movie, when he grabs him, he's actually putting the evil of Michael into him. And I think Corey was supposed to be becoming Michael.
I mean, I get if he was going to become Michael, that would be something.
And then Michael maybe dies. And then he's in his body and he takes his mask.
But I feel like that wouldn't even be justification either for him to just die. Because it was Laurie's job to kill him. That's the way I see it.
But no, it's not really, because that's the whole point of the second movie, saying that Michael doesn't care. Michael doesn't know the right or wrong. Michael is a killer. Like, he's a monster. Like, he doesn't know what he's doing. He just feels like he has to kill. And it has nothing to do with Laurie. Laurie made it about herself. What I would have loved, it seemed like she was the one that broke him out of jail in the first movie, the 2018, because there was a bus crash, but we never found out how it crashed or why. But we know that Laurie was following it, drinking. And I kept thinking, wouldn't it be cool is if Laurie really is responsible for this? And she had to become the monster that she hated so much. And if they would have really explored that, it would have been a much interesting series of showing you that when you hunt monsters, you become monsters. Like
Yeah.
that whole thing. If they're gonna do cheesy, stereotypical references, like I just said, might as well double down and do that fucking thing.
Yeah.
So it's odd to me, and it could have had a better trilogy here if they would have maybe done some of that. But instead, they wimped out. They kept doing these weird things, and none of these 3 movies complement each other.
No, not at all, because they're all over the place.
They're all
all
over the
place, and we don't even know who the hell to root for anymore. It's like, and now in this one, I mean, this should have been the Michael and Laurie show, but it wasn't. It was about some stupid kid that we don't care about. I was disappointed as fuck. I'm giving this a 4. And on that note, I want to go eat my sandwich.
Yeah, I'm going lower. This is a 3 to me. I think that this is badly acted, badly directed, badly written. Dialogue is terrible. Everything about this movie is comical, accidentally comical. To me, this felt like M. Night Shyamalan wrote it and directed it.
Oh, God.
It is very off-putting. It doesn't even seem competent in directing. And there's 4 screenwriters, and you can feel it in every ounce of
Yeah,
this
because
movie.
nobody knows what the fuck they're doing. It's just all thrown together.
I'm
It's
telling you, there was a
terrible.
script, and they had to keep rewriting it last
This movie
moment.
is fucking terrible.
This is the longest we've ever done
Yeah.
one of these because this is insane.
We can't even get our heads around it. We're like trying to, like, we had to talk it out, like everything, because I mean, I still can't get my head around that bullshit that happened. I mean, this is a joke. This is almost like a slap in the face. Like, we waited this long.
Yeah.
We went through 3 movies. It's like, come on, man, give us a freaking ending. This is bull crap. It's just awful.
My ending thought is this might be the worst Halloween movie ever.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I told you I would much rather watch Season of the Witch on a freaking loop for 3 days than have to even endure this movie again. It was trash.
I know, like Rob Zombie's second movie, a Halloween movie, is what I can compare this to more. You're saying Season of the Witch. To me, Season of the Witch is a whole nother movie. It doesn't really go into this franchise. It just has a name. I'm fine with that. I'm not a big fan, but I know it stands on its own. But to me, Halloween 2 from Rob Zombie feels more genuine to this because it also is like messy and doesn't make sense, and it's trying to do something else. And I appreciate someone trying to do something else, but commit to it. All right,
I'm just.
we got to stop talking because I can go on for days.
Mind boggled. This movie sucks. It's awful.
Yeah, I'm just very disappointing. I can't believe they did it. I'm shocked that this got released. It's a mess. All right, guys.
right,
thanks for listening. How long this thing is.
Sorry
Have a
it's so
good
long.
night.
Where do we go now?
As far away from Haddonfield as possible.
Come with us.
No, I have a little business to attend to here.